5 teams remaining in the race for the flag in the year 2000. We're seeing 2 of them this afternoon, Carlton and the Brisbane Lions, as we welcome you to the MCG. Another knockout day here as far as Aussie rules football is concerned. Wherever you may be viewing around Australia, I hope you can stay with us as we count down the finals in the year 2000. Joining me, one of the greatest forwards of all time and a seasoned finalist, played in more than 20 finals himself, Jason Dunstall. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Sandy. Looking forward to it. It's a real exciting time of the year, isn't it?
Well, it is, especially for Brisbane too, who I think have got something to prove as far as finals are concerned, especially on the road. We know they were successful last week up in Brisbane, but this is indeed a new test for them.
It certainly is. I mean, they've got a lot to prove out here today because their record isn't great down here. There's the times they've played in Melbourne this season, 2 from 6. Not a very good record, and one of those wins was against St Kilda, so that's something they certainly need to improve upon. And
taking that one step further, their record at the MCG is even more dismal, just a couple of wins out of their last 11.
Yes, that's an even more damning statistic, isn't it? 2 from 11. Look, I'm sure Lee Matthews is very aware of that, and he'll be doing everything within his power to turn the boys' performances around today.
The challenge to win a final away from home, yes, Lee Matthews is most certainly aware of that.
Yeah, well, it's a bigger challenge for us. Yeah, I mean, to go and win a final outside your home state is the, I guess, what we have to do as a team to take another level. I mean, winning a final up here is great, and we did that a couple of times last year, and I guess we've done that before, but this club's never won a final outside Melbourne, so that's a little mini challenge that we've got. We have no negative vibes about playing outside Brisbane. We think we can play just as well in any part of Australia, except maybe West Australia when you've got to fly for about 8 hours, but that aside, you know, so that's the next challenge, and against the very best opposition, probably at the MCG Saturday afternoon, so you can't get much more the home of football and the challenge like that.
And Jason, we talk about challenges for both sides. Perhaps the challenge for Carlton is to try and finish off a game strongly in the last quarter. Their final terms have been questionable.
Yeah, this isn't very encouraging, is it? 4 out of the last 5 matches they've been run over in the last quarter. The only good one there was round 22 against Richmond, and we saw how poor they were in the 4th quarter against Melbourne last week. And that's something I'm sure that Brisbane would focus on as well. If the game's in the balance, they'll believe that they can run over the top of the Blues.
Well, it's interesting because that was something that Lee Matthews touched upon after last week's game at the press conference.
With great confidence we can run 4 quarters out really strongly. Whether Carlton have, that's their business. But on yesterday's performance, well, obviously, compared to Melbourne, they didn't quite run it out the same.
Well, I mentioned we've got one famous full forward with us behind the microphone here today. Upstairs, downstairs, there's another one. 2 big names of the game from days gone by, Richard Osman and Tony Lockett join us. Gentlemen, welcome.
Welcome, Zandy, thank you. And we're outside, 20 minutes till game time, and I tell you what, the crowd is pouring in. It's a fantastic day for footy. Your thoughts, Plugger?
Look, it should be a great game. I think Carlton proved all year that they were the second best team in the competition. They'd be very disappointed with last week's result, and I'm sure they'll be fired up this week. On the other hand, Brisbane, I expect them to be very keen to win their first final in Melbourne, so it should be a great game.
It will be a great game, and I look forward to your comments throughout the afternoon on the boundary with me.
No worries, Aussie.
Yes, thank you, Aussie. 2 big guns, Jason Dunstall and Tony Lockett join us. We're going to take a break. Simon Black, he'll be hoping for a big day today. He plays his 50th game for the Brisbane Lions. We wish him well. Back with the sides in just a moment. Packed into the MCG for this knockout final between Carlton and the Brisbane Lions. Nice to welcome to our coverage this afternoon a couple of champs from days gone by, Ian Robertson and Jared Healy. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Robbo. Good afternoon, Sandy and everybody. It is a big day, and I think a big day for not only the sides, but particularly for, I guess, the man in charge of the Blues, because if he can get their side up to win a final, who knows, maybe he can convince John Elliott and co at Carlton that he's capable of doing the job in his own right.
You're talking about Wayne Britton, of course, and not David Parkin. Robbo, looking forward to a big one.
Yes, I think it'll be a very, very interesting game. I know that Carlton have won the respective clashes through the home and home rounds, but I would expect Brisbane to be very, very hard at it. They were competitive last year in a final here against the Kangaroos, who eventually beat Carlton in the grand final. I know they're different lineups, but they're back here to try and make amends.
Just repeating, no Dean Rice. He had played every game this year up until today, but he is a late withdrawal. Brett Backwell comes into the lineup, and the Lions too, losing Luke Power, who's been a very, very good player, has booted 52 goals for the season, and Daniel Bradshaw, who's booted 56 for the season, missing.
Well, there's no doubt that they'll miss both of those because it's going to be goal-kicking power that's going to win the game. I think the team that wins has to kick in excess of 16 goals.
That's Barry Round, one of the greats of the game from days gone by, with his son, David. As we go down for the national anthem, it's time to join our Master of Ceremonies, Craig Willis.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League and Coca-Cola welcome you to the second semi-final here this afternoon at the MCG. Would you now please be upstanding for the national anthem of Australia?
You could see part of the huge crowd here at the MCG, Tony Lockett and Richard Osborne. Nice to have them as our boundary riders today. As the Carlton boys gather for one final build-up. Let's join Tony and Ozzy. Actually, Tony, it was interesting up here. Jason Dunstall noticed that Silvani was having some shots at goal. Just maybe he could start in the forward line.
Yeah, you're certainly right, Sandy. We just never know. I dare say that he would start in defence on Alistair Lynch, but look, you never know. It is a final, and I dare say players will be switching from position to position, so that'll keep us guessing, but we'll soon find out.
What's your gut feeling? Carlton probably go into the game as favourite. What do you think, Tony?
I think so. I think they'll be very disappointed after their loss last week. I think they'll be fired up, and having said that, though, Brisbane certainly keen to win their first final away from Brisbane, first final here in Melbourne, so expect a great game, Sandy.
Thank you, Tony. And Richard Osborne down there on the sidelines. The Brisbane Lions won the toss and are kicking to the left of screen.
Well, just having a problem there with Aussie, but we saw Simon Beaumont. Wouldn't be surprised to see him line up on Michael Voss. He is the key figure of the afternoon. And, well, who knows, they may throw a camper rally onto him later on once the game is in control. But Beaumont, I think, has had all the big jobs, and they don't come any bigger than number 3.
And Silvani going down to defence and immediately onto Alistair Lynch at fullback. Great atmosphere here at the MCG. The Brisbane Lions have a withering finish to their season. Carlton has stuttered.
Franchina and Nigel Lappin just having a little psychological battle even before the ball has bounced.
They've had a history too, yes. And I think at this stage Franchina would be about 3-love.
So too Hume and Ackermanis. So here we go, another knockout final.
Mansfield, Bradley, Ratton and Porter starting in the middle for the Blues.
Porter contesting, trying to knock it down towards Lappin. Had it for a moment. It's belted out of the air by Ashcroft. Only as far as Bradley. He can't get a touch. Robbins applies a good tackle. Desi Headland comes in over the top. He's been playing confident, fast-running football in the last couple of weeks.
You see excessive pressure being applied to Bradley early, Jason?
I think it would only be natural, Robert, to welcome him back into the game and really make sure that he knows he's in for a tough afternoon.
Mansfield pushing over, trying to pick up Voss. Beaumont's on a half-back flank at the moment, but Voss desperate to get onto Ratton.
As we said, a perfect day here in Melbourne, a temperature of 16 degrees, cool and overcast. Bit of illegal kicking going on in the middle there, and we'll come to Scott Camporelli from centre wing. Camporelli looks up towards the right half forward region. Good mark taken by Ratton. He looks in towards Allen inside 50, and the big man doesn't let him down. Matty Allen.
Interesting that they've gone with Porter at the centre bounces, and Allen, who I feel is a much better tall marking player up in the forward pocket.
The reigning best and fairest winner at Carlton, coming back after knee problems. He's kicked 13 goals for the season.
Sandy, on the other hand, the Brisbane Lions have got Beau McDonald on the ground and Young Noble on the bench.
Allen from 46 metres, bringing it back beautifully. First goal of the day. Take it back. First behind of the day.
It was a good move though by Brett Ratton, who appears as if Michael Voss picks him up in the midfield, he is going to push forward. And we saw him drop out the back of the pack there, and he was duly honoured by, I think it was Camporelli who delivered it well to him.
Short kick by Johnson to Lepic. Still well and truly inside his defensive 50. This kick goes out towards the left half back. The mark is taken by McDonald. Looks to play on and does so to Lappin. Nigel Lappin playing for Brisbane. That kick not well weighted because it gave the opportunity to Houghton to drift back and mark from behind Brown. He's been called to play on. No one to kick to. He's been asked to play on. Now he can afford to go short. And they retain possession of the ball through McKay. McKay goes wider still. Hamill's got a chance here from Manton. He made the lead but was not honoured. Now Manton goes back to McKay. They've had 4 possessions and still inside their defensive 50, the Blues.
Sean Hart running with Camporelli.
McKay, is he protected by the Shepherder? He was, and then goes wide to the wing. Porter couldn't take it. McDonald did from the back. Lawrence, short kick. Franchina punched away, still Franchina. He's as strong as an ox. He goes in and keeps his eye right on the ball. Bradley, perception magnificent. Hickmott just had a little bit of space. Goes in the direction of Whitnell, punched away by Lepic. Spillage of the ball at left half back. Ackermanis kicks blindly out towards the wing. Awkward bounce and runs away from Lawrence and over for a boundary throw in.
Just the one behind on the board. Carlton, kicked by Matty Allen, throw in on centre wing. Push down past Ackermanis, Hume towards Ratton. Ratton goes inboard to Bradley. Tumbling a punt, almost blindly down towards half forward. Johnson chops it off. He's been good recently.
A bit of a slow start to the match, but I think most people come in expected with the losses for Brisbane that this would end up a one-sided game. But if you look through their running power, they've still got a tremendous amount of ability, and if they can just make it an open, free-flowing game, the Lions could cause some damage.
Hart changes direction and goes to the outer side, finds Craig Bolton. Nice to see him coming back in towards Darryl White. White drifting to centre wing, slowly towards Headland. Now Headland has got some dash, he's going to have to use it here. Does well. Clearing it back towards Johnson, loses it. They've got it on the outer wing. Bradley locks it up. McKay is there. So too Fletcher and Porter. McKay goes again for Carlton. Wide to Lappin, off to Bradley. Out of trouble, back to Fletcher. A tumbling punt towards Whitnell and Hickmott. It's the latter who's claimed, ripped to the ground by Darryl White. And there will be a bounce. Hayden Kennedy, one of the men in white. He's being assisted today by Gavin Dorr and Darren Goldspink.
Yeah, look, you can obviously see how much pressure there is out there at the moment as we take a look at Carlton's interchange. The most important thing for all players is to play the percentages. Don't try and overuse the ball.
Ratton and Bradley and Black nodding there as well. Take it to the line.
And some of the key matchups on the big players, Sandy. Darryl White has picked up Lance Whitnell. Lepic is now with Allen. In fact, they've just swapped over, so they'll interchange. And Mansfield now running with Voss.
Here's a chance for Lappin. He was waiting out the back. He kicks towards Allen. Drops it. Lepic and Whitnell. Lepic a short kick towards Hart. Hart's across half-back. Combines with Lawrence. He goes wide to the outer side. Bolton will see it to the line. And it's over with Aaron Hamill.
Well, there's a lot of this match still to be played, but Brisbane still to go past their half-forward line. And Carlton have had much of the play in the early 5.5 minutes. So confidence booster for the Blues. Ratton has been prominent. Ooh, big crunch between a couple of players there. Fletcher gets it to Camporelli. Camporelli, who uses the ball well on this occasion, kicks to the square. Will it bounce through? Oh, it just missed to the right anyway and through for one behind. by Scott Camporelli. That bouncing ball end on end away from Darryl White, just missing off to the right. A couple of behinds to the Blues. Brisbane yet to score. The kick in is to Lepic once again. Inside his defensive 50. Short kick taken by Allen. Allen's got Porter near the middle of the ground. It looks like Hamill too, screaming for it, but Allen ignoring. Allen goes in short. Marking contest.
Well done, White.
White in front. Crumbs gathered by Ratton out wide. Hickmott provided a contest. Still alive for the Blues right in front of their goal. Hickmott dragged away from the football. A real struggle for possession right in front of the Carlton goal. Only about 25 metres out, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Stephen Lawrence, last to regain his footing. And Darryl White showing a lot of strength of mind there to get in front of Mark Porter. We watch now from the bounce. Ackermanis runs away. Kicks it out wide in the direction of Headland and McKay. The old and the young. Desi Headland, #1 draft pick a couple of years ago. McKay locked him up, and the hand pass has gone over for a boundary throw-in to beat Andrew McKay. You've done something in grand fashion, and Des Headland was not quite up to it on this occasion. Good concentration by McKay in the tackle. Boundary throw-in. Allen down to the front, and he's been grabbed a little too high. May have attempted to take the ball out of the air, Matthew Allen there. Got the ball off to Bradley. Already Bradley has had 4 possessions. Kicks the ball to half forward. Whitnell at the fall of the ball. Didn't he read that? But he was tackled from behind. Johnson to Ashcroft. Ashcroft out wide. Good kick. And the mark is taken out there by Black. 50 games to his credit, Simon Black, today in this final.
Yes, the Lions have just a couple who played every game. As that kick was wide of Jonathan Brown, a young man from the Western District of Victoria. Plenty of people around Warrnambool will be interested in him today, and plenty of people from Chiltern interested in the Lappins. He kicks it up towards Whitnell.
I think the big matchup that's going to be of some concern to the Brisbane Lions is Hamill on Bolton. Wayne Britton has isolated those two and he's quickly stuck Hamill in the goal square by himself.
Lance Whitnell hasn't missed a game either this year. He's got Hume still 53 metres out. The lead is on from Hamill. And yes, he'll have a shot. The 22-year-old from Tuggeranong turns 23 on Sunday. So this would be an early birthday present, wouldn't it, if he could kick a goal here?
And Jared, you mentioned that matchup. It's probably been created by the fact that they're playing Matthew Allen forward. Darryl White probably would have been a better option to put on Aaron Hamill, but he's had to pick up the bigger ruckman playing as a forward pocket.
Well, it's certainly working for them. Young Bolton, Craig's,
it's a big ask, isn't it?
Well, he's only had half a dozen games, and he's up against a player who's just coming into the very best form that we've seen. He was concussed last week. Let's see how he goes, Sandy.
Played extremely well until he was. He's kicked beautifully. He's kicked the first. Aaron Hamill puts Carlton on the board. It's his 35th goal for the season.
So I tell you what, there's a fair discrepancy in the inside 50s at the moment. Carlton have gone forward 7 times, and Brisbane haven't really threatened a forward thrust at this stage. So I guess that's all starting in the middle as well. They need to win a couple of balls at the centre bounce.
Well, there's the brothers Koutafidis at Christo, if not by blood, but by
chain.
The thickness of presence, they certainly do. Spent a lot of time together, Ange Christo and Anthony Koutafidis. Leaving the ball behind was Malloy, gathered by Beaumont. Pressure applied by Robbins. Beaumont falls over, then knocks it away. You must do that. Robbins did well. Got the ball back towards Headland. Headland to Lawrence. Lawrence in towards half forward. Good kick. Gave every opportunity there to Lynch. And very difficult for Silvani to do much about that.
That was a brilliant kick from Steve Lawrence, because Silvani was right on Alistair Lynch's hammer, and Lynchy showed great acceleration over the first 5 metres to get there.
Importantly, it came from a centre bounce clearance by Michael Voss, who got his first kick.
Lynch from 45. Lovely kick by Lynch. Brisbane have got their first goal of the game. They've only gone inside their forward 50.
For the season, Alistair Lynch is without 2 of his key men up forward today in Power and Bradshaw. As we go back to the centre, Voss trying to get it out of the middle. Beaten by Ratton. Tried to go wide. Lappin eventually got it out. Lawrence has Michael Voss, 55 metres out. Voss goes over the top. Silvani goes back, but he was off target. It was away to the right. But Voss is the key man out of the middle for the Brisbane Lions. He's been in scintillating form in the last 7 weeks. His brother, almost every week, starts on the bench but does produce some wonderful little cameo performances. And I'm sure Brisbane will be hoping for something like that today as McKay rips it out of defence, kicks up towards Porter and co. Johnson was a flyer, but Lappin is waiting at the back, spears the pass in beautifully.
And Lee Matthews has recognised that the job at full-back alone is beyond Bolton at this stage of his development. He's put Darryl White back, but it was Stephen Silvani, the full-back of the century, wouldn't have been able to stop that one.
Now, it was a beautiful delivery, and Bolton's had to go and pick up Matthew Allen, which is still a mismatch as far as size and shape is concerned.
Great crumbing there by Matthew Lappin.
It was an important touch on Porter, actually, at that aerial contest. He just brought it to ground.
Aaron Hamill, playing in his 7th final, has a chance to boot his 2nd goal, kicking from just inside 50. Starts it a little right, but it comes back okay. He's got his 2nd. 2 to Hamill, 2 to Carlton.
Well, have they got the defenders to man up on the 6 forwards that play in that area for the Blues, Gerard? When you look at what they've got at their use.
Well, I think, Robbo, what they have got is they've got Notting and they've got Malloy in the forward line. They could rob one of those two and stick him back and go with a smaller forward line. I think they've got the power runners out there that could kick goals despite not having the marking targets.
Well, Aaron Hamill, a couple of goals against his name. Gee, what a terrific start that is. If you talk about confidence for forwards, you can't get much better than that. Centre clearance affected by Black. Out wide Headland. Hand pass Voss. Hand pass Hart.
Oh.
Down he goes. Hume the tackler.
No,
still Hart with the football. He had 2 or 3 chances to get rid of it. Lawrence tackle. Gang tackling. Through goes Malloy, the D9. And Ackermanis will go in and get a goal for Brisbane. It was just rugby football by the Lions. They just forced it forward with numbers, and eventually the ball.
Michael Mansfield getting one high, coming off for the blood rule.
Hume also coming off, and he lined up on Ackermanis. And you just look at some of the matchups: Franchine on Lappin, Hume on Ackermanis. If they can break the tags, Lappin and Ackermanis, they've got so much more devastating capacity than their direct opponents that they could feature prominently in the result. And it just is going to get down to how much ball that the Brisbane Lions can convert from their midfield into goals.
Brett Backwell goes out immediately onto Ackermanis. A point in it. Good start. Goal for goal. Porter beaten, but it's Ratton who gets a high kick. Down towards Whitnell. Lepic had front spot. Controlled it well and was able to give it away. It finishes with Brown on centre wing coming from Tim Notting. Jonathan Brown, the greyhound lover. Beautiful kick towards Michael Voss. Voss wants to go on with it. 55 out. Disappointing kick. He pulls it into the pocket. Can Lynch recover? He's got the D9 there as well, but he's taken over the line. Lynch keeps it in play. Incredible. And Manton will find the boundary line on the outer side, but I thought that ball went over the line.
Only by about a yard or so, Sandy. I couldn't believe this. It looked for all money as though it had gone out. Gee, if that's not outright there.
Or there.
That was dragged back in, wasn't it?
The whole ball's got to be over.
Play goes on. Ackermanis is in the thick of things once again. Tried to soccer it forward. Ratton will find the line. Keeping it in play. Goes backwards towards Beaumont. Doesn't have a lot of room in which to work, but somehow gets it clear towards Franchino. He kicks up over the centre. Whitnell's got to stand his ground. Allen comes over the top with Brown. And Allen takes the mark on the outer wing.
Whitnell did well there to let the big fella go for it.
Plays on. Kick is going to drop short. He'll chop it off once again, but a good smother. We'll see it come back towards Voss. He could have been held. Notting gets the hand pass clear towards Lepic. Lepic could bounce his way from half-back, away from Camporelli, to the outer side, and Jonathan Brown. Proppy hand pass over the top to Lappin. Back to Brown again. He can come to the centre. Lawrence is his target.
Pretty smart play there by an inexperienced player, because Matthew Allen is just hanging back and kick behind. Oh. That's got to be a challenge.
Well, Hart can't believe it.
Well, that's
belatedly umpire Goldspeed.
I don't reckon he paid the free kick to Shaw.
Oh,
he's
right
paid
across
this
the head.
one. He's paid the second one.
You're right, Robbo.
But
he did not play.
Let the first one go. Unbelievable.
I think the umpire thought Porter spoilt the ball, but he actually caught Sean Hunt right on the headgear.
In fact, I thought he hit him with his shoulder and had no intention of spoiling, but looking at it from that side, at least he had his fist out.
Ashcroft in towards half forward. Beaumont chops it off.
Beaumont looking downfield. McKay went to one side. He's got Allen to the members' side. He ignores both.
Another blood rule coming off here.
So it's
Hickmott, I think.
been fairly willing in close so far. This is Sean Hart being decked by Porter.
Well, it was at least a free kick.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, they're working overtime down here at ground level, the Carlton guys. We've got Hume and, well, we've actually got Porter coming off also now, so Hume is back, ready to come back on, and Michael Mansfield both suffering the blood rules.
Well, Houlihan and Favola, so they've used the whole bench, the Blues, and the football is in the hands of Beaumont. It was inside the forward 57-0 in favour of Carlton. It's now 8-5 in favour of the Blues. McKay, just a critical fumble there, which is uncharacteristic of Andrew McKay, and that's out on the full. Bad luck there for Simon Black. He must have just got his foot to it. So the free kick will be taken by Allen. He doesn't take the kick, and it's going to come back because it might be Bradley's kick. Is it Bradley's kick? No, it's going to... You wonder why the umpire does that. I mean, brings him back. Now he forces him to kick. There's no one on the mark. Kicks in towards half forward. Mark taken by Hamill. Well, you picked at Gerard very early, and he's been quite prominent. Oh, great mark, Darryl White. Just floating back. He had no idea it was coming from behind, but he didn't worry and took the one-hander. Nigel Lappin across the full-back line. Ashcroft in the left back pocket. 2-2 the Blues. 2-1 Brisbane. Short kick straight to Hott. Couldn't take the mark. Backwell fumble. McManus to Crummett. Chance now for Nigel Lappin. Franchina let the ball go. Kick forward in the finish for Brisbane by Robbins to a vacant half-forward area. Silvani and Lynch. Could have nearly been in the back. Manton, not a bad hand pass from being on his knees. Beaumont, all right, he was allowed a little bit of time, which favoured the Blues. McKay towards half forward, past Whitnell, past Lepage. Lepage just a little quicker maybe at ground level and takes it over about 40 metres around from the Carlton goal.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Robbo. The most noticeable thing about that contest there between Whitnell and Lepage is Lepage does have a yard's pace advantage.
7 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Tight opening. Whitnell using the body. Johnson was held. He's taken to the line. He's a little frustrated, Johnson too. Black just keeps it in, but only momentarily.
Out the full Sanders, it came off the boot of Craig Bradley. So justify, I think that was justice because...
Yeah, Johnson was definitely held, wasn't he?
Hume back on the ground for Carlton and Blackwell off.
Thank you, Tony. Tony Lockett on the boundary this afternoon with Richard Osborne. Simon Black in game number 50. He's been one of the form players for the Lions. Kicks down towards his big man. Freeborn can't get clear. Voss at the bottom of the pack. Robbins and Ashcroft scouting. Hart there too for the Lions. We've got a bounce on centre wing.
Midfield, Voss 3 and 1, Ratton 2 and 4. Bradley's had 5 possessions.
Freeborn off and Mansfield back on. Heavily strapped head. Beau McDonald. Hasn't he taken on the responsibility with the injury to Clark Keating? And look at the strength and skill of Voss. Down towards half forward, but Franchina's pretty quick too. Beaumont gives it off to Houlihan. He runs through half back, flicks it back towards Allen, who marks on centre wing. Pops it over the top of Lappin. The townsfolk of Chiltern rise again. He gives it to Hamill. Hamill pokes it into a vacant forward line. Bolton will be first there for the Lions, and he will find the boundary line in the back pocket. 2-2 plays 2-1. Aaron Hamill has Carlton's only 2 goals. Alistair Lynch and Jason Ackermanis are the goal kickers for Brisbane.
Brendan Favola's come on for the Blues to go to the full forward spot.
Oh, here's Lappin. Lappin can kick a goal from 25.
Is he a player that could quite easily slip under your guard?
Oh, without a
preparations?
doubt. Without a doubt. He's done that on a number of times this year where he really helps himself to a bag full of goals on any given occasion. This time he just roves the ball beautifully, hits it at full pace. Wasn't a pretty kick in the air, but it went through, and that's all it has to do.
Well, on a couple of occasions, the Blues have gone forward, and has been Matthew Lappin at the fall of the ball, who his cousin, number 44, playing for the opposition. Lee Matthews, the Brisbane coach, just barking a few instructions down to the interchange bench. Allen got first hand to it. Voss grabbed, didn't have the ball.
Got it that time.
And eventually got it. I thought earlier on he could have got a free kick.
You've got to work out for your free kicks. I think there was about 20 free kicks paid last night.
Lovely long kick by Voss. Silvani and Lynch will watch that contest. Robbins pretty good. Brown tackled a little high maybe. Cotton was the tackler. Umpire Darren Goldspink in that area of the ground decides on a bounce. 50 metres from the Brisbane goal. Left half forward for the Lions. 2-1, 13 Brisbane, 3-2, 20 the Blues. The winner of this match to play Essendon in the second preliminary final next weekend. Bounce of the ball. Allen gets left hand to it. Spills for Ashcroft. In turn, Nigel Lappin. His kick, pretty good to the square. It'll bounce through for a goal. It'll bounce through for Brisbane's third goal. Nigel Lappin, the goal kicker. Alistair Lynch has got one. Jason Ackermanis has...
Nigel Lappin is one of them. Jared Malloy is another, and Sean Hart the third. Right. Voss again, almost got out of the middle. Franchina though, poor hand pass. It comes back to Ackermanis. They're going to take it out of the centre eventually. Although the Brown kick partly smothered. Ashcroft in trouble. Comes back once again towards Black. Black kicks down towards the 50. Lynch was there, but he couldn't take the mark with Silvani in opposition. Taken over the line. Taken over the line.
Mr. Controversy, Darren Goldspink into the action early.
And here's the Robbins kick. It's a beauty too in towards full forward. Nathan takes a strong mark and he plays on quickly to McKay. McKay's got Beaumont.
Some worrying signs for the Blues at the moment. The midfield of Brisbane is doing particularly well.
Whitnell is a target. Leppich will belt from behind.
This is
cleverly done.
Also.
That was Leppich again, and it came from Black. Just a deft little touch by Simon Black. Now to Robbins. Hart calling for it short, but he'll go long. He's got Desi Headland, one of two down in that forward line. Lynch was another. Carlton desperate. Camporelli with dash. Goes wide to the outer side and finds Houlihan.
Alistair Lynch hurt two boys in that clash. Doesn't look too flash.
Thank you, Aussie. Keep an eye on him. And Bradley is also down for Carlton. It's the walking wounded, and we're only in the first quarter. Mansfield towards Hume.
He did some good running there, Darren Hume, to get into the action.
Here he goes with a pass. It's a beauty for Butler.
Well, they've done it each time. They've isolated young Craig Carlton at fullback, and well, I think Lee Matthews will have to bite the bullet eventually, and that was a tough one for any fullback of any standing in the game to prevent. But if it continues this way, then he's got a problem.
Here's the 19-year-old from Beaconsfield. He kicks from 49 metres. Accuracy has been a problem for him this year. He comes into this game with 20 goals, 24. He now has 20 goals, 25. We saw Alistair Lynch in the hands of the trainers.
She's hard work getting a free kick these days. But Brendan Favola, well, he had a disappointing match last week. He was probably lucky to keep his place in the side, and he would want to take full advantage of those shots at goal. He always gets a lot of shots at goal, Jason, but just not converting it at the required level at the moment.
I think for that reason you've got to persist with him, Jared. I think he's important to the Carlton's forward setup as well.
Leppich to White. He's almost down to centre wing. 3 minutes remaining in the term. He'll just chip over the top to Simon Black, who's made a very good start to this game. Up towards half forward once again. And well done by Simon Beaumont.
Hand pass away to Allen. Allen could always put his teammate under an enormous pressure there. And that was Lappin. Grabbed a little high. Ackermanis, can he get away? Blind handball. Malloy overruns it. In there goes the free ball. And it's a real struggle. It was Hume throwing himself at the ball. Little Blondie, but he's got a big bag around his head by the look of it. Darren Hume. And the umpires plucks a free kick out of there. Miracle man.
They are letting it go for a while, the umpires,
I reckon there's a problem with the whistles. There's something wrong with their P's.
Houlihan has the ball. Defensive side of centre wing. Kicks the ball in the direction of Whitnell. Leppich does well. Whitnell's recovery pretty good. He's well tackled though by Leppich. Looking for holding the ball was fellow commentator Gerard Healy. Umpire ignores all appeals and will bounce.
He's playing a brilliant first quarter, Justin Leppich. He is right on top of Lance Whitnell.
6 possessions to Leppich. and Whitnell just one kick from a mark. Whitnell does the ruck work. Ball spills. Darryl White controls. Black. Long kick by Black towards half forward. Allen again dominating the air. He can break to the far side where Houlihan has made position, but he gave it to Hume instead. He can go very wide. Manton's the obvious target now. Manton out wide. Running in support is Silvani. He'll probably get it. Manton just ducks and then weaves and then kicks it in the direction of Silvani. He's going to eventually get it, is he? He's got the football. No, it's Lynch. Lynch falls over. Gets the hand pass out. Sean Hart, handball down the line. Opportunity for Johnson for Brisbane. Johnson's into the pocket and finds Ackermanis. What does the play on? He's off. We had a target. A wide handball target in Brown. Beaumont does very well. It was so critical that he goes over and intercepts and then gets the hand pass to Houlihan. Houlihan down the line. And Favola interfering with Bolton, not seen by the umpire. May have been seen but ignored.
20 seconds remaining in the quarter. Lappin coming off second best there. From the throw-in on the outer wing. Ackermanis won't get another chance at the moment because Mansfield will take it to the line. Lappin right on his hammer, and we've got another throw-in.
Jason Ackermanis has just made a couple of blues with the footy in his hand. He just seems to be running in overdrive mentally at the moment. But looking at the Blues, Jason, it seems that Matthew Allen have just got a problem, the Brisbane Lions, getting around him.
Yeah, I think they've taken over at the throw-ups and the takeaways around the ground.
Bradley and Houlihan, that kick is wide, but they've been saved by the bell.
Good signs for the Brisbane Lions.
Very good.
Too far out, so it is quarter time. Good, tight first quarter. Craig Bradley coming back into this Carlton lineup this week. Just 6 goals scored for the quarter and a couple of points in it. At quarter time, it is 3-3 Carlton, Brisbane Lions 3-1. Carlton, their average age in this outfit is just over 25 years of age. Brisbane, 22.7. Carlton lead by 2 points, 3 goals, 3-21. Brisbane, a 3-1-19. You go in that second quarter. Gee, the Carlton bench got a decent old workout, didn't they, in that first quarter? I think every player used.
Well, there were a lot of blood rules for starters, Sandy, but I think they were just trying to rotate to get the right matchups, and I think they did it particularly well early in their forward line. Jason finding a couple of goals, in particular with Hamill, and isolating young Craig Bolton.
Yeah, they did, but I must say, you mentioned it late in that quarter, Jared, good early signs for Brisbane. I think they had the better of the first quarter, even though they're a couple of points behind. They've got the momentum around the ground. They're winning most of the contested ball-ups and throw-ins, and that's got to be a big worry for Carlton because that's one of their strengths. Yeah,
just looking at a couple of the stats, some big possession winners are Simon Black, Michael Voss doing particularly well. Brett Ratton's getting his hands on the ball, but hasn't really had a dominating role at the moment. And Jason Ackermanis, coming off a wing, has clearly towed up his direct opponent.
And interesting to see the contrasting coaching patterns of the two sides. Lee Matthews virtually marshalling his troops as a solo coach, whilst Carlton having a number of former champions there, including Diesel Williams, John Worsfold, the former captain of the West Coast Eagles, now in charge of their defence, Wayne Britton, Stephen Kernahan. They've got the lot.
Yes. A lot of clubs do that these days, though. They have specialist coaches that address their particular area and then they come together, but Lee still likes to control the overall picture at the moment.
And he is still doing that as the Brisbane Lions break up and get ready for the second quarter. Let's go down to Tony Lockett. Tone?
Yeah, Sandy, we've got Johnny Worsfold here, Carlton assistant coach. Johnny, first quarter, very tight, but I mean, you come to expect that in final footy.
There's really nothing separating the sides in terms of possessions, and we're pretty happy with that. We want to be in a contest with them as long as we can.
Aaron Hamill was very good in the first quarter, kicked a couple of pretty telling goals, but Brisbane come back late in that first quarter.
Yeah, they're going to, there's no doubt. Brisbane are a high-scoring side, so we have to try and restrict them and keep our scoring flowing along.
All the best for the rest of the game, Johnny. Well done.
John Worsfold speaking there with Tony Lockett. Alistair Lynch, who copped one in that first quarter. He also kicked one goal. Here we go then. Second term, 2 points the margin. Carlton leads.
McDonald on the bench for Brisbane at the start of the second term, and Noble starting.
He's in ruck. And he gets a touch. Voss tried to flick it wide. Bradley gets caught by Johnson. Ringa, Rosie. And he loses the football. Black's in over the top. Ratton Tried to get it out. Look at that engine room. Hume's in the thick of things as well. So too is young Jonathan Brown. Welcome to the big time. Welcome to finals as Simon Black picks himself up.
Full marks to the umpires, though. If they see any movement of the ball in these contests, they let it go.
Still in the middle. Freeborn and Voss jostling with one another. Flick back towards Ashcroft, who tumbles a punt up towards Malloy. He was held. He's got to get a free kick, the D9. Still a long way out. Kicks to an open forward line. Lynch and Silvani. And the fullback of the century.
Oh, you've got to be joking.
A free kick and
where has he plucked that from? Where has he plucked that free kick from?
Well, if you could read the lips of Steve Silvani.
The left
wrapped around the neck of Alistair Lynch, and that is a very good decision.
Was there any jumper pulling earlier? What about the right arm of Alistair Lynch's jumper pulling?
He's trying to push Steve Silvani off because Silvani's trying to cause a one-on-one contest. Look, that's a good decision by the umpire.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jace. Come on, Robbo, you've got to keep these fullbacks honest.
Lynch is kicking for his second, and the Lions, a dream start to the second quarter. They hit the front. 2 to Alistair Lynch, 1 to Jason Ackermanis, and 1. 2 goals. Good start for the Lions in this second quarter.
Yes, they lead for the first time in the match, 4-1 to 3-3. Bounce back at the centre. Noble, good leap, got first hands to it. Bradley not able to break away, so the umpire will repeat the dose. 25 plays 21. Just like a lull, isn't there? As if we're waiting for someone to make a surge, one team to maybe make a surge and break away. Ashcroft, a second centre clearance, and umpires found a free kick there. It's a holding decision against Brisbane, and it will go to Trent Houghton.
Where the Blues need to pick up is across half forward. Whitnell and Hickmott have had just one possession between them.
Ratton may have been paid a free kick there. Marking contest was not very clear. Then he kicks in towards the forward pocket, and Hume has taken the mark. He can go to Hickmott. Now he goes into the pocket and honours the lead of Hamill. Bolton, very big problems for Bolton there. Hamill marking quite safely.
Well, that's the matchup the Blues are very keen on. If they can get Aaron Hamill to expose Craig Bolton, they'll fancy Hamill's chances of kicking half a dozen goals today. Very good lead. A good delivery coming in from Freeborn as well.
And the way Lance Whitnell is going, Aaron Hamill has got to kick maybe more than 6, Jason, if the Blues are going to register a competitive score at the end. Hamill kicking from a tight angle. The player on the mark is only a matter of 25 metres from goal. You can see the boundary line. Hamill's shot at goal is very good. He's popped it through. 3 goals to Aaron Hamill, 2 goals to Alistair Lynch, and the Blues have the lead once again, 4-3 to 4-1.
Ozzy, what are the options down on the bench?
Well, no doubt they're going to have to do something about Aaron Hamill. He's just looking too good, but there's not really a lot of options. When Marcus Picken, perhaps an option, he's probably got a bit more height and strength, but I'll tell you what, there's not much else down on the bench.
Carlton back to a 2-point advantage. Hamill now with 3 goals.
Interesting.
Out of the middle, Headland.
Sandy to push Camporelli forward. He hasn't been getting a sniff hard as Belden himself.
Great smother, Porter.
Well done by Porter on the Lawrence kick to smother it. Could be a costly turnover. They've got it down in the forward line once again, down towards Hamill territory. He's in absolutely everything, tried to get it towards Whitnell. Lacking confidence at the moment is Big Lance as it has taken over the line.
He's feeling the pressure of not getting touches, Lance Whitnell, isn't he?
Yep. Tried desperately to get it to Darren Hume. Whitnell in front this time. Mackay. Freeborn keeps it into Mackay. Beautifully done. In towards full forward, and Allen takes a well-judged mark. 35 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Gee, that's a strong mark, Matty Allen, because he had traffic coming across in front of him. We see him take it at the second grab, but Darryl White backed off a little bit. He thought that the Brisbane player coming across the front was going to spoil. You can just see he doesn't fly. He thinks it's covered, but it just gets over the head of the Lions defender. And Matty Allen takes a great mark in the end.
Had a shot in the first quarter, had the first shot of the game and missed. Chance again to kick his first goal, and this time he does not miss. So Allen gets his first. Houlihan comes onto the ground. Backwell has a spell, and Carlton stretches its lead.
Well, it has been the flexibility of Matthew Allen so far in this quarter, and in this match indeed, that has just given Carlton that air of superiority, in my view. The Brisbane midfield has done particularly well. They've kept them in this match at this stage, but Matthew Allen just looks as if he's impossible to match up on.
Matthew Allen, the goal kicker for the Blues. Aaron Hamill has kicked 3. Matthew Lappin has kicked 1 for Brisbane. 2 to Lynch, 1 to Ackermanis, and 1 to Nigel Lappin.
Porter now to full forward and Allen into the middle.
So the Blues just keeping the Lions on their toes as far as the changes are concerned. 2 on 1 back here at half back. Malloy, Houghton, McKay, he's had 7 touches already, robbed of it by Franchina. Kicks the ball back in the direction of Houlihan. Over the back there was Notting, couldn't take the mark. Johnson run down, got to be penalised. Automatic penalty, the advantage is with the Blues. Allen, his kick is ordinary. Gee, didn't they have a chance there, Jason? Breaks down because the kick was not good. Lepich mopping up at half-back.
It's not much of a better kick either.
Headland, he'll be run down by Hamill. Tackle too high. Tackle much too high, and it will go. No! Oh, how can the umpire do that? Surely. It's not to Brisbane's advantage. White tackled and then handballed it over the line. What is wrong there? That should have been a penalty for putting it out of bounds. In the finish.
Poor umpiring all round, because the young kid Headland, he thought the umpire had called him to play on. He didn't know he'd registered the free kick, and he should have been smart enough and mature enough, the umpire, to just blow the whistle and give it back to Headland.
Well, the Blues are getting certainly the advantage of the umpiring decisions, and they get another one here.
We've got a mismatch here. Lepich is away from Whitnell. He had a run at it.
Couldn't take the mark. The crumbs nearly gathered there by Freeborn. He's got the football. Out wide Lappin. In turn Hickmott. Hickmott's kick smothered. Whitnell hasn't hardly had a touch, and he's going to get a goal. Lance Whitnell, left foot snap. No, too far. Missed to the right. Exciting football on the half-forward line for the Blues, resulting in just a behind. They lead 5-4, 34, Brisbane 4-1-25.
Midway during the second quarter, Johnson towards Lappin on the outer side. Now Darryl White kicks over the centre, up towards half forward. The big man in Trent Noble tested.
Good vision.
This is dangerous because Lappin can set it up here. Trying to chop his way through the middle is Hume. Whitnell! Well, he was the one who applied the tackle down here just minutes ago. That would have boosted his confidence. Now he's picked up another couple of possessions in as many minutes, and he's got a chance this time to kick a goal.
Yeah, they had a few forward options there loose, but Lance Whitnell's just going to go back and kick the goal. He was actually taking Justin Lepich back towards goal when it looked like a longer kick would come in, but then he just propped, led on the short lead, and Darren Hume was very good just to throw the little left foot pass in.
It's hard to believe, but he doesn't turn 21 until next week. And he's kicked the goal, Lance Whitnell. Boy, that will help his confidence. He's kicked 69 for the season and is first for the day.
Yes, it was a pretty fair lead, this one, and smart vision there by Campriali. Hume has actually got himself back into the match here, and that was a tremendous pass which set him up. But Robbo, I think you're making the point that the Brisbane Lions midfield have just dropped off.
Well, Michael Voss hasn't touched the ball in the second term, Gerard. It's 10 minutes old.
This is the biggest lead we've seen in the game to date. Carlton leading by 15 points. The Lions desperate to go into attack. Allen almost threw that out. Lappin tried to flick it wide to McKay. It was successful. McKay goes down towards the half-forward line. No mark taken. Houlihan is lurking there with Big Porter. Porter tries to go back to Houlihan. Black had it and lost it. White somehow got it out towards Johnson. He gives it to Lappin, who gives it to Lawrence, and the Lions are away.
Lawrence's kick close to the boundary line and punched away from Malloy by Manton. Maybe there could have been interference there against Manton on Malloy.
It looked like there was an arm around the shoulder that time too, Robbo.
Looked like a Boston strangle.
Damien Cubido on for his first run in finals footage too, boys.
Well, he's an exciting prospect, Plugger, that young fellow, so we'll watch his form in the next few minutes. Brisbane get the ball inside their forward 50. Manton, gee, did good, didn't he? Kept his eye right on the ball. They break to the right through Hickmott. He goes back to Ratton. He'll probably kick it to Hickmott. No, ignoring. Goes further. Look at Hume. Darren Hume has got on his own out wide on centre wing. Honours the lead of Matthew Lappin. He tries to duck back. No one really to kick to, so he's got to go back and settle. And then will deliver into the middle eventually. And the mark is taken here for Carlton by Hickmott. Hickmott just wide of the centre circle. Goes very wide. Whitnell out wide. Oh, good mark. Excellent mark taken by Johnson. Standing his ground. May have been looking to take advantage of playing on. 40 plays, 25. Carlton lead. We're about halfway through the second term. There is the look at what is confronting Chris Johnson. He gives away a little bit of ground. Goes back to Lepage. A high ball. In towards half-back, and the mark is taken there by Brown.
Lee Matthews has got to get Michael Voss back into this game. At this stage, Scott Freeborn's doing a great job on him in this quarter. And maybe you could just unleash him by putting him on to Brett Ratton.
Brett Voss on the ground. Short kick finds Sean Hart.
Brisbane look like, sorry, Robert. Brisbane look like they're going to make another change. Scotty McIver talking to young Marcus Pickens, so he'll be on fairly soon.
Well, Hart is forced to kick the ball high. Allen dominating the air, Matthew Allen. Handball away to Freeborn. Look at this turnover. He pinpoints Bradley. Bradley's got Ryan Houlihan. Ignores that. Goes to Hickmott. Should have taken the mark. Still a chance. Vision for Lappin. No. Breaks down. Lawrence tackle. Spillage gathered by Ratton. No. In goes Hickmott to try and make amends for that slight error that he made a few seconds earlier. And it's locked up at half forward for the Blues.
That just looked like Adrian Hickmott could have used both hands to take that mark.
Noble and McDonald changing on the bench. Just keep your eye on number 17 there for Carlton and number 3 for Voss. Look at the body language and the way that Freeborn is just concentrating solely on Voss. He's not interested in getting a possession, and the way that's going, Lee Matthews may just have to look at changing it.
Ackermanis almost smothered.
Doesn't matter how good you are at getting in and getting under. If you've got a bloke just sitting on your tail like that,
doing nothing else, not even chasing the ball.
Yeah. Well, you're going to struggle to get kicks.
Because he was the player that got Brisbane right into it in the first term.
Bradley.
Oh, great.
Comes wide. That was good vision as he finds Hickmott. He looks down towards the forward line again. Porter was the target. Smashed clear of him. It comes to Darryl White.
By Johnson.
Combining with Johnson, he finds Brett Voss on the outer side. Voss thought about going short towards Cupido, but now goes longer, almost down to the 50. They've just kicked the 1 goal so far in this term, and that was very early on. There's a push there, and they've got a chance to go forward. Robbins was at the bottom of the pack. He copped a shove. The distance will test him. He's 55 out.
No one's dropped into the hole, so there's still a bit of space that Alistair Lynch can lead into.
Big Leppard's pushed forward. Lepage for the Brisbane Lions. He's pushed forward. He's looking for the big hanger.
And he's with Matthew Lappin at the moment, so you put it up in the air in his area.
Well, Robbins is going long, but he's, in going for distance, pulled it to the left. And the result is a behind.
If he had got that ball in a little bit quicker, Jared Malloy was by himself with Manton, would have created a one-on-one situation there. Instead, he just held onto the ball too long and give time for the Carlton defenders to get back into the hole.
Talk about Manton. Tony, here he is, taking that kick in.
They've done well, though, in this quarter, Carlton. They've really locked it up. They've stopped the free flow of the match, which suited Brisbane. And it's now really down into hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, here we go. Hamill with strength. He set it up here for Franchina. Combining with Lappin. Now Bradley. Will he try and go over the top? Holds it up.
Houlihan.
Chips it short. No, he goes Houlihan at 50. Fletcher standing by to come onto the ground. Whitnell and Lepage. Houlihan towards big Lance Whitnell. Leppich belts a fist towards the boundary line. It's going to be kept in play. Michael Voss takes it now from half-back, kicks to Simon Black. Black from a standing start looks up towards centre wing. The big man department. This is McDonald up against Allen. Big Bo finding Malloy, who in turn finds the line.
Houlihan coming off to be replaced by Fletcher.
8.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Brisbane have kicked 1 goal, 1 in this second quarter. Carlton have booted 3 goals, 1. Allen, McDonald, Hume, Fletcher just onto the ground. Welcome! As Johnson slams him over, and Hamill has given away a free kick.
And he fell for the free card trick, Aaron Hamill, because he was probably trying to square up for Fletcher getting bounced as he got the ball.
Poor old Simon Fletcher just on the ground and straight off the ground.
Ackermanis to Malloy.
The Brisbane runner's just been out to Michael Voss, and he was pointing forward. Whether or not he's telling him to push into the forward 50 more and become another option is debatable, but we'll find out and track him and see where he goes.
Well, that's the next option when you get tagged, Jared, is maybe make him a key forward.
They're darting around like mosquitoes in the Brisbane forward line, so he centres it, a big pack. McDonald waits down, Voss is there also. He's outside 50, gives a little ground. Darryl White, what can he do? Chipping short, and that's going to be okay. Lawrence might ask for 50. He won't get it, but he'll probably ask. In fact, every player is in one half of the ground at the moment. He comes across to Ashcroft, who is directly in front. 55 out. Marcus Ashcroft plays on, kicks from 52, into the square he goes, and it's going to be chopped off. Malloy steals it, but that's what it was. Allen is at the bottom of the pack.
Dominating this game, Matthew Allen, 11 possessions, 8 marks.
Tell me why this isn't 50.
Well, that's a very good question. I did ask the question. It wasn't answered. Allen has the ball from the last line.
Kicks out in the direction of Fletcher and Johnson. Contest, gathered by Ackermanis, kick smothered off the boot. Comes back to Ackermanis, handball. Darryl White looks to get past, and he's flattened as he got the hand pass away. Made it look a bit worse than what it was, but Darryl White will take the free kick.
Oh, he could win an academy for that.
Extraordinary recovery.
Johnson will take the advantaged free kick, goes to half forward. Marcus taken by Robbins, looking to play on, could go to Lawrence in the opposite pocket, looks for McDonald. Little push out, but he's been paid the mark in the right forward pocket. And Bo McDonald will shoot for goal from about 25 metres. Difficult angle.
It's an important kick for Bo McDonald. They need something out of their big men, Brisbane, because Matthew Allen is dominating this game at the moment.
Bit of a push here, but umpires appear to allow that sort of pushing out these days, and you're right, they've just got to, Bo McDonald has got to neutralise Matthew Allen's input up forward.
Hasn't had a lot of kicking practice in the game so far. First kick. Kicks across the face of goal. Misses to the left, scores are behind. Coming off the ground is Porter to be replaced by Favola. We've played nearly 20 minutes of the second term. The Blues lead 6-4-40. Brisbane 4-3-27. And it is a 13-point advantage for Carlton.
Bradley initiating the kick out. The Lions needing a goal or two before half-time. Freeborn has other ideas now. He gives it away to Franchino, who looks down towards Favola and White. 2 acrobats. Favola's the first to recover. He bends it back, and he's kicked the goal!
Well, score that one, Sandy, on your score sheet there to Wayne Britton. I know Brendan kicked it, but Wayne Britton had him on the ground just 15 seconds prior to getting the ball in his hands. Darryl White went to ground. That's what cost him the goal. But Wayne Britton has come up with a trump move there. He's taken Porter off and Favola on.
Well, credit given for that goal from the coaching staff at Carlton. Favola only on the ground for a matter of seconds. Voss, centre clearance, bounces awkwardly at the feet of Malloy. Ackermanis just trying single-handedly to lift the Brisbane side. Ball spills now. Camperelli, left foot kick, very good. Allen, no, interception provided by Brett Voss. and he did a pretty good job because the Blues were away there. If he didn't get a hand onto that ball, Allen was away.
Robbo, it's interesting that you have a look down the Carlton possession list for this quarter, and nobody's got over 5. It's been a genuine team performance. Everybody for the Blues has lifted across the board.
Allen doing the ruck work. Ball spills to the back. Well affected there by Hickmott. Bradley able to gather, but just not quite into the contest. Whitnell left it behind. Johnson kept his eye on the ball, gathered at halfback, gives away a bit of ground, and goes back to Lawrence just to keep possession of the ball. Lawrence goes out wide. Favola, good mark. Bolton. He was under pressure because if he didn't take it, the Blues would have been inside their forward 50 within a fleeting second.
Big raps on this kid. They believe he's got tremendous ability. The Brisbane Lions should be a 10-year plus player, but he really is under the microscope this afternoon.
Nice long kick to half forward. Robbins, important hand on it there from Houghton. McKay streaming from half back, sets it up for Hickmott. Hickmott in towards Whitnell. He's found him. Oh, look at Lappin. Lappin's on his own at the back. Fletcher. There's a million of them. In fact, they go and mess it up again. And Johnson to be congratulated. Chris Johnson defending grandly. He's going to get a free kick, but he did kick the ball for a clearance. But it'll go back to him.
That's unbelievable. Either Lappin or Fletcher could have marked it on their chest, and they both left it for each other.
Johnson goes to the outer side and finds White. Darryl White now. A chance to run it forward for the Brisbane Lions. Lynch is a long way from home, but he sneaks clear of Silvani for the moment. He turns in a wide arc. He gets caught, loses the ball. Ackermanis comes charging out at it. Beaumont, first one way, then the other. Puts Freeborn under the pump. He could have been taken high. They'll get out of it purely with numbers. Beaumont again, chipping in towards the middle. Lappin takes the mark. Whitnell screaming for it on the 50. He's got it now. Big Lance over the top to Hamill. Hamill can kick a goal. He bends it back. It's high. It's straight. It's a goal.
Well, the turning circle of Alistair Lynch was a real concern there. He looked like the Queen there. He just couldn't get around. He had Steve Silvani done in a sprint, but just couldn't get the rudder to bite. Couldn't turn around. And eventually just had to cough up the handball and the goal resulted.
And they made hard work of it in the end. They had the loose players running back, but...
What about Hamill's kick?
Oh, look, that's brilliant around the corner off one step, isn't it? He's kicked 4. He could be the match winner, Aaron Hamill.
2 to Hamill in the first quarter, 2 in the second. Big game unfolding for Aaron Hamill. It's Allen in the middle, up against Beau McDonald. Carlton through Ratton, down towards Whitnell and Lappin. Bradley does the roving work. Back towards Lappin. Fletcher to do the shepherding. Lappin should tidy up and goal. And he does. Trouble now for the Lions.
I think the crunch is around the middle of the ground. The games are won and lost around the centre, but the Lions can't affect any centre clearances. Ratton's starting to get a bit of the ball now as well.
Well, they push Lappin into the square. That is Nigel Lappin. Matthew Lappin doing particularly well for the Blues. He's getting a lot of the football. But what was their strength is now their weakness, and that's the midfield.
Well, Matthew Lappin, the goal kicker. The Blues a chance to go forward again. Fletcher, Whitnell, Ratton.
Oh.
Just a little too cute. Lippich, back to the middle. Whitnell gets his foot to the ball, important.
Look at
Fletcher. Freeborn, straighten up and kick a goal. You've done a good job there. He has. Scott Freeborn, goal for the Blues.
7th for the quarter.
They are.
Done a good job, disciplined on Michael Voss, and now gets the opportunity to kick his first goal and the Blues 10th.
Yeah, they've blown the game wide open. They have just surged the Blues. They've put the pedal to the metal and taken off. I'll tell you what, if they didn't kick a goal then, they had Craig Bradley sitting in the forward pocket all on his own for about 2 minutes while all this play was going on. They had the numbers around the ball. All of a sudden, the Lions players lost contact with their opponents, and they are in real trouble.
4 goals in 5 minutes, and Carlton has blown this game wide open. Freeborn gets his first.
The Carlton hierarchy, I think, recognised at quarter time they were in trouble in the middle, and they've really changed it round, and they've blocked Nigel Lappin. He's had just one kick.
Here
and
they go
Foster's
again.
had just one kick this quarter.
Ratton to Freeborn to Camporelli. Inside 50 towards Whitnell for Vola and co. Neither can take the mark. It comes to Freeborn again. Don't tell me he's going to kick another one. He's away to the right. He had a good hard look.
You know, they're doing it too with Camporelli, just 6 kicks. He's been such an important player in their midfield with the absent Koutafidis having a relatively quiet game by Scott Camporelli standards.
Johnson with just over 2 minutes to play for the half. Spearing it in towards Leppich, off to Hart over the top to Ackermanis. Still on the half back line. Brings it inboard now to Marcus Ashcroft. Well, McDonald fell at the critical time. He does have backup support through Picken, and he needs it. Picken goes down to the forward line and finds Cupido.
Great kick.
Highly talented young player is Damien Cupido. He's kicked 6 goals for the season, but he's only played 5 games. This is his 6th.
Well, we saw Bo McDonald in a similar pocket, similar angle here. If we thought that was an important kick, young Cupido really has to kick this one for the Brisbane Lions.
Carlton had kicked 7 unanswered goals. Brisbane got the first goal of the quarter. Since then, all Blues. Cupido to stop the rock. Tugs it to the right. 1 behind.
Well, that's the difference at this point in time, boys. The worrying signs came early in this quarter for the Brisbane Lions. Carlton have really dominated, but not just in possessions. 7 goals for the quarter. They've dominated on the scoreboard, which has been significant.
Short kick by Bradley to Ratton, back to Bradley. Goes out very wide, close to the boundary line. McKay, he's got Allen. Can get by. He's very rarely caught, isn't he, Andrew McKay? He kicks the ball towards full half forward. Hamill, he's got 2 to beat. Bolton does well. Stands his ground. Nigel Lappin out wide. Hart dispossessed of the ball, forced to kick with the right and coughs it up. McKay playing a great game. Andrew McKay. The steel-mindedness of the Carlton defence restricting Brisbane so far to just 4 goals for in the modern AFL game is just a very, very average looking scoreboard for Brisbane. Franchina goes short. Houghton can go back to McKay. He did there. He stood up and gave Houghton the support. The kick forward. The crumbs. Lawrence out wide. Darryl White. Short kick is all right. Hart takes the mark. Hart's kick. He's coughed it up. In comes Houghton. Looks to give the hand pass away. Whitnell. Ashcroft. Hand pass is not all that bad. Hart gathers. Here's a chance for Brisbane. At the end of it is Notting. Just lost sight of the football. Then the hand pass a little ordinary to Black. He's got time to gather, collect his senses and kicks towards half forward, and that's off the boot of Stephen Silvani on the full. And it doesn't matter anyway. Carlton would be happy with that because the siren will halt proceedings the first half of this semi-final match at the MCG between the Blues and the Lions.
He's going to have a shot, Robert.
Will be taken by Ackermanis
from 95 metres out.
I will lay the odds. He's 150 to 1.
$11.
He's $1,000.
Line up and get paid because of the coffers aren't too full at the moment, Terry. I might take that dollar off you too, by the way. Ackermanis going for the big talk. Gets onto it. He will drop it nearly to the end of the square, and the Blues quite calmly in the finish control the ball when it hits the ground at half-time. Carlton lead 10-5 to 4-4.
An exciting quarter by the Blues. 7-goal blast. But remember last week, at one stage, they led by 31 points. Strange things happen in football.
The Coca-Cola AFL Premiership Season 2000. Brought to you by Harvey Norman. The all-new Nissan Pulsar. The bank that helps businesses make it happen. And Carlton Draft. Unbeatable.
Now it's time to work through this irrational terror.
Not irrational.
What has 8 legs?
This town is dead.
2 deadly fangs.
Rock and roll.
And some serious attitude. Freaking big spiders, that's what.
Just what the world needs. More bugs.
We're gonna need another way out of here.
They're spinning a web of terror and ready to party. Arachnophobia, now showing on Movie 1.
And Jackson's out on bail, and there's only one man who can put him away. Not Plenty more.
You know, I'm going to miss Buzzy.
Little does he know, Buzzy's got a twin.
Well, I hope your brother's as nice as you are.
Nice maybe. A ghost definitely.
Buster?
This is wonderful. Wonderful? Oh, it's murder. What do you mean you'll use my body? Like this?
Now showing on Movie Greats, Danny Kaye in Wonder Man.
Only Optus has the weekday mobile that becomes an AFL footy phone with changeable covers, a ring in your club song and score updates. That's the power of yes. Optus World.
Here we are back at the MCG on AFL Saturday. This is another knockout final. We've got 5 sides left in the race. In a little over an hour, there will be only 4. Will Carlton go ahead, or will it be the Brisbane Lions? Tony Lockett and Richard Osborne have been watching it from the sidelines. Aussie, at this stage, the Blues look in the box seat.
Yeah, no doubt, Sandy. I'm actually predicting them to go on and win this game by 10 goals plus. One slight concern for them, though, Plugger. Lance Whitnell is just starting to get back into the game. What would you do with him?
Look, he's been a little bit quiet, but it is only half-time, so I don't think it's any use panicking now. The other forwards are kicking goals. Hamill's been terrific. He's kicked 4 terrific goals, and Whitnell had a part in one of those goals. His effort out here on the wing to chase down the Brisbane player was terrific, and I think he went back and a couple of minutes later kicked a great goal himself, so that should give him a bit of confidence. And as we know, a half is a long time in footy, so don't be surprised if Lance Whitnell comes out and kicks 3 or 4 this half.
Matty Allen's been terrific, hasn't he?
He's been great. Look, it's a bit of a luxury for the Carlton side to have players of the ilk of Whitnell and Hamill and all these type of forwards, big forwards that are very mobile, and they've certainly been dominating today.
It's been a terrific first half, that's for sure.
Thank you, Oz, and Tony Lockett down there on the boundary.
I think it's interesting as we have a look at Lance Whitnell that at the other end of the ground you've got a guy with so much presence on this match, and yet Robbo, you have a look at his statistics and Steve Silvani's had just the 1 kick.
Oh, he's enormous. I mean, he's probably a great example, Jared, of we give votes in awards, we and newspaper and radio people, and yet we look at stats, and if you looked at his stats, he would never get any best award votes at all, would he? But he's terrific as a defender.
37 points is the margin.
Well, there's a Carlton bench with Mansfield heavily strapped, but a full forward for the Lions is Cubido, Damien Cubido.
10-5 plays 4-4. What can the Brisbane Lions do in this second half? Freeborn will belt Carlton out of the centre, quickly up towards half-forward. At the back is Allen, there was a shove.
I'll tell you what, it's interesting that Lepich has gone back to pick up Matthew Allen. You've actually got Darryl White up on Lance Whitnell.
Lepich to take the free kick.
They've got nothing to lose here, the Brisbane Lions. They're so far down, they're throwing Cubido to full forward, hoping that he can do a la Brad Green last week. But I think Michael Voss, if he is continued to be silenced, he needs to go forward also.
McDonald takes the mark and gives it to the player you're talking about. Michael Voss off to Darryl White. Chipping wide, it's just wide enough towards Tim Notting. Back in the lineup this week. This is Johnson now, almost on centre wing. Worm-burning pass to Brent Voss. He looks towards the 50, he looks towards Malloy. He's the meat in the sandwich as Silvani came from the other end. Lynch right on the line, keeps it in play as he tucks it in towards full forward. Cupido's at the back. McKay, the flying veterinarian surgeon, comes over the top.
Oh, he with Allen have been tremendous.
Well, the Carlton boys say if Macca's on song, so are we. And he's having a pretty good day today. Towards the half-back line, Voss keeps it in play, gives the Lions another chance once again. Lawrence came steaming out, but he couldn't take the mark. Here he is again, McKay. Providing the link, he gets clear. Copped a shove in the back, but he speared the pass in towards Whitnell. White's got him locked up between centre and half-forward, and there will be a bounce.
Andrew McKay's direct opponent is Stevie Lawrence, and Stephen Lawrence has actually led him to the ball too many times. Most opposition clubs these days putting somebody out there like a bunny runner just to take him away from the footy.
Cubido is off. John Brown is on. Up towards full forward. Allen with a one hand couldn't do it. Vavola's at the back as well. Notting concedes the behind.
So the first score of the second half to the Blues, a rush behind, 10-5 to 4-4 at half time. 37 points was their lead. It is now 38. Kicked in by Lepic, well outside the defensive 50. Now the race is on. Notting, tackled by Lappin. Ball spills, Hamill and Ashcroft. Lappin goes in, second effort not bad. Notting kicks it back towards the Carlton goal and then goes for the safety of the boundary line. But Des Headland is there, gathers. Little left foot kick in towards half-back, chopped off by Ratton. Hand pass further forward, gathered Allen. Flying shot at goal by Franchina. And the Blues have let a couple of chances go begging late in the second term when they had a chance to get the ball through Fletcher and Lappin. And now another chance to Franchina. Goes down the drain. White kicks in. Hume has to go for the mark. Ball gathered by Hickmott. Tapped away by Hume. Beaumont gets it back from Allen. Beaumont straightens up. Kicks it in towards full forward. Whitnell's got to contest the mark. Gathered by Voss. Handball Lappin. He's caught. Got the hand pass away. The kick away. Gathered by Allen. Allen's kick back towards Whitnell. Not much common sense in that because the high ball is being mopped up by the Brisbane Lions defenders and Whitnell getting no real chance to take the ball on the forward line.
Whitnell's also had that problem with the minor dislocation of his shoulder, and that's the weak point right up above his head.
Lappin goes wide to Ackermanis. Kicks towards the 50. Edged out was Malloy. Silvani towards the line.
I tell you what, you saw Jason Ackermanis streaming down the wing there. The man chasing, Aaron Hamill. Not only has he kicked 4 goals, but his work rate's incredible. And when he chases a bloke, he chases like he wants to catch him.
Good punch by Trent Houghton in that last line of defence.
Chris Johnson's been shifted from back pocket to forward pocket.
Mackay, Bradley almost threw it out towards Camberelli. Bolton gets him, not before he gets it away. Here's Mackay again, spearing the hand pass through towards his teammate Hume, who's away. Hume looks towards the half-forward line. Allen going up before acceptances was Lepic, but he affected the spoil. It's pushed to the line. We've got another throw-in.
Gee, Simon Beaumont had streamed down the middle of the ground all on his own at centre-half forward. He still hasn't been picked up as yet. If they had have opened up their vision and switched it, he would have run uninterrupted all the way to goal.
Yeah, Headland just dropping back on him now.
Mackay already 5 possessions in this third quarter.
In fact, Mackay, I said he was on Lawrence. He's on Craig Bolton.
He's having a field day. Bradley sets it up once again. Lappin in towards full forward. And this time the big man Porter takes the mark inside 50.
Hasn't it just worked beautifully for Carlton, playing the 2 blokes, not just straight off the bench, but giving them a spell up forward, and they both look dangerous at times.
Mark Porter has kicked 4 goals for the year, 4 without a miss. Playing in just his second final. Carlton continues on its merry way.
Good conversion there by Mark Porter. Kicking, as we just saw, is not the most natural of skills for him. But he's shown already in this final series that he's a very capable young ruckman with a huge future. And if the Blues can manage to sign up both of these players on long-term contracts, that's Matthew Allen and Mark Porter, then they're going to be well served in the big man division for the best part of the next 5 or 6 years.
Well, importantly for Carlton, they hit back hard in the early part of the third quarter and get the first goal. Nigel Lappin kicks it forward. Chance for Headland, but Silvani's plucked it out of nowhere. And then an ordinary kick. Well, that was none out of 10 by Stephen Silvani standards. Hickmott gathered by Voss. Handball Hart. Wider still Ackermanis. Bounces all right for him. Hume taken out of the play by Lawrence. The kick in towards full forward has been marked by Lynch. He's nowhere near full forward. He's at left half forward. Hooks the kick in towards full forward proper. No mark. At the fall of the ball. Knocked away by Camperelli. He's taken out of the play. Kick forward. The Brisbane side. No, it's out of bounds. By gee whiz. You'd like to have another look at that.
Well, probably squared off in the finish because, I mean, Camperelli, what have you got to do to get a free kick?
Taken out of the play completely, wasn't he, with this attack on the man by Jared Malloy. Boundary umpire throws it in right forward pocket for Brisbane. Here's a chance for the Lions. Falling over was Lawrence. Spillage is gathered here by Beaumont. Has he got a chance? He handballs it, coughs it up, but gathered by Silvani. To Freeborn, to Bradley. looking to set it up to Skipper. 36 years of age. He's still got the footy. Kicks it in towards Allen. At the back, the big punch. Voss, that's Brett Voss, tackled. The kick into the middle of the ground, and the mark is taken by Black.
Simon Black should do very well in the club's best and fairest. Goes over the top to Ackermanis, another one deeper to Bolton. Bolton from 52 metres sets sail for home and kicks one for the Brisbane Lions. Good on him. Bolton gets his first.
Jared, you mentioned earlier he's held in high regard. He's had a very tough day at different times opposed to forwards that have kicked goals on him. He now finds himself in the forward line, but gee, this is a classy finish. He gets the handball from Ackermanis. He runs to 50 and just unloads, and this is a beautiful strike of the ball.
Yes, it was like one of Robbo's 7 eyes. He just hit it straight in the sweet spot, middled it. And it was a fantastic shot at goal. The backspin at the finish.
Well, it's taken almost a quarter of football for the Lions to kick 1 goal. Let's see if that can maybe start something for them. Rat couldn't take it on the half volley. Picked up by Brett Voss. Beautiful smother by Rat to keep it in the area. But it's going to be Hart who gives it to Voss, who kicks the Lions up towards Malloy and Co in the forward line. Watch out because McKay's lurking. Oh, he's everywhere. He is everywhere, Andy McKay. Off he goes to Scott Camberelli. Carlton looking the goods. Wide and a Rat. Controls it pretty well and then bends it back into half forward. Bradley will pick a goal. 36 years and 10 months. The running machine continues to run. Take your head off to that football team.
They said this morning in the USPGA, we saw something was sensational with Jack Nicklaus, the oldest man playing competitive major golf. Wasn't that fantastic, the oldest man on the ground, Craig Bradley, the skipper, getting the goal?
Inspirational. Inspirational.
Not sure Jack kicks as good a goal as Craig, though.
Well, I think it's relative. We take our hat off to the elder statesman who has achieved in both circumstances. What a great performance. It was set up for Craig Bradley, but you've got to do the finishing work, and we've come to know the finishing ability of the 300 gamer Craig Bradley.
Freeborn's come from the ground off Voss. Looks like Bradley's pushed onto Michael Voss.
Camperelli can't break away.
No,
just a game out of sorts for Camperelli.
Sorry, Robbo, looks like it's Franchino. They're just interchanged. Mansfield's gone onto the ground to go into a half-forward position.
Yeah, Freeborn's right ankle of this, boys. They're just re-strapping it now.
Yes, we just had a quick look at that. Voss tackled by Ratton. Tell you who's playing a reasonable game too, Beaumont. Camperelli in towards full forward. The fall of the ball, Fletcher gives away a little bit of ground. This is important bounce. Camperelli can't break away, but Beaumont was there running in support. Very important that you've got the handball target, and that kick forward, not advantaging Whitnall, the mark taken by Darryl White. Quickly, White is still to Brown in the left back pocket.
Spoke of Beaumont, just thought having played on the likes of Hurd and Buckley throughout the season, done particularly well, that he would have been the preferred starting option for Michael Voss, but they've done it pretty well after quarter time on the MVP.
He has mopped up everything, Andrew McKay.
This defence is enormous. Darryl White couldn't take it. Hickbot to keep it alive. Hamill to get his fifth. Hamill to get his fifth. Well, it finishes with the goal kicker, Jason, but gee, there's a lot of work done up the ground to create the opportunities for the goal kickers.
There is, and it's not the first goal that's resulted for Carlton today because of Andrew McKay at half-back. He has just taken them all on, and if he doesn't find an option, he'll tuck it under the arm, have a bounce, and run around an opponent. In the end, some acrobatics from Darryl White wasn't enough to break this down, and look at it, somehow squeezes a kick under the body there and finishes beautifully.
8 players have kicked goals for Carlton. There's Andy McKay, 13 kicks, 6 hand passes. Effectiveness 95%. I don't know what happened to 5% because he's been sensational. Here's Bradley getting them going again. Franchino rips through the middle of Camperelli. This is becoming a procession. He goes for goal! Thank you, says the bucket! The Carlton machine is warming up for the Bombers.
Gee, there was a bloke down on the boundary line that put his reputation on the line as a tipster. Richard Osmond said they'd win by 10. He might be conservative.
Exactly right. Just have a look at the deft skills here. Firstly, of Ratton, there was a purposeful handball, and this one from Franchina, just to the voice, was outstanding. But the underground handball by Brett Ratton just showed his true class. He had it bouncing up lace out.
I don't think Lee's phoning home yet, but by gee, he's got to get onto someone pretty smartly. 14-7 plays 5-4. Camporelli gets his first. Voss still being minded by Franchina as the ruckmen go at it and land on their rumps. Silvani used the body nicely. The lap and hand pass a little questionable to Headland. Ackermanis tried to belt it further forward. Silvani and McKay both got bad bounces. Hume's okay. And that kick under pressure is going to go out of bounds on the full. The Lions will get a chance. Will get a chance to go deep into attack.
Just chose the wrong option. Fletcher should have handballed to Silvani, even if it was very close to the boundary line. That would have been a better option than going for a miracle kick.
Nigel Lappin kicked the goal in the first quarter. But this Carlton defence has given away very little. Leppich.
And they might as well throw Justin forward, although we don't know if he's playing forward yet. He may just have run down there from defence because there's only 2 players in the defensive half for the Brisbane Lions. But I guess Lee Matthews would be conceding, obviously, that the game is gone now, being so far down. But important that all of their youngsters gain some experience here. They don't get blown away completely.
Well, he's a goal kicker. He's kicked 156 now in his career. That's his first for today. Leppich won this quarter. Craig Bolton won this quarter. But Carlton are blowing them away because Hamill's booted 1. Porter, Camporelli and Bradley all have singles in this quarter.
He is starting forward, Leppich. They have gone a lot more attacking this half, the Lions. One of the downsides of that, Sean Hart, who was tagging Scott Camporelli, is all of a sudden playing half forward, and we see Camporelli starting to come into the game in this quarter. So, look, it's probably the only thing that Lee Matthews could do, and that was be a lot more attacking. He's just got to hope that it keeps producing more goals.
Is there a score in this game that you can defend? Is 9 goals an advantage that you just
look at this.
You give up on?
Hang on, look at this.
Bradley to extend. Didn't touch it. Yes, he did. Tim Notting just getting his left hand to it. Bradley scores a behind from the centre bounce clearance. Camporelli 3 touches in the first term, 3 in the second. He's had 5 already with 10.5 minutes left in the third term.
And how's our pace on Craig Bradley? Normally when you're bouncing the ball you're slowing down a bit, but Voss isn't a slow man by any stretch of the imagination. He just outran him, Bradley.
Notting kicks in, Porter up over the top, and that's off the boot of Nigel Lappin, it looked like, on the full. So the free kick will be taken here by Franchina.
No one on the mark, he can go.
Favola trying to make position further down the field, but he kicks for Whitnell. Again, a bit of an up and under. At the fall of the ball is Hickmott. Can't break away, got the hand pass away. Good contest provided there by Hume. Still in the action, Mansfield, and throwing himself on the ball. That wasn't Bradley, was it?
Adrian Hickmott, look at the desperation, just diving in at the loose ball. They are smelling a real live kill here, the Blues, and they're going after it.
Hickmott, 5 kicks, 3 hand passes. Yet to kick a goal. Umpire to bounce about 55 metres from the Carlton goal. Lappin tried to run onto it. Gathered by Black. Hand pass, Voss dispossessed. Under pressure. And locked up by the Blues. Half forward, 50 metres from their goal.
9.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. There's Brett Ratton.
Well, the only move really that Lee Matthews could do, I think, is to throw Leppich forward and just hope. We've seen it, but the ball's still got to get down there. And now Brett Voss is playing on Camporelli.
It was Brown who tumbled it to him. He gives
look
it
at
back
the
to
chase.
Michael Voss. Almost caught by Hamill. Magnificent chase. He got him, but a little too late, and Leppich takes the mark, and Michael Voss certainly felt that one.
He's an aggressive player, Hamill. He is steaming at 100 miles an hour, and he said, well, I got there in time. I'm not going to let you go either. I'll ride you all the way into the dirt.
And he certainly did that. Leppich shooting for his second.
47 metres. Bends it back and rides with it. He's got 2.
Well, good passage of play there for the Brisbane Lions, Jason. I know we don't give votes during the finals, but despite the, I guess, the disparity on the scoreboard, Justin Lepage would have to be close to BOG.
He did a particularly good job on Lance Whitnell early, even though Whitnell started to fight his way back into the game in the second quarter, but he's since gone forward and kicked a couple of goals, which is exactly what Lee Matthews asked of him. I guess they'd like to have a couple of them at each end.
Voss appears to be okay after that heavy tackle from Aaron Hamill. Heavy but fair. So the Lions out of the middle. Trent Noble tries to smash into the half-forward line, but this defence of Carlton's, with Houghton and co reigning supreme, give very little away. Push towards the centre wing, and Hume taken over with Ackermanis. We've got to throw it. Darren Hume copped a heavy one in the first quarter.
Here's the centre bounce last. Gavin Dorr doing his best to get on the Carlton stat sheet for a Shepherd.
Camporelli down towards the forward line again. Lappin slaps it out the back. He wanted Favola. Jonathan Brown is there, tumbles a punt towards Ackermanis. Hume has got him and he wears him like a glove. Not before he gets it away to Voss. He looks towards Lynch, who marks on 50.
I'll tell you what, this game's far from over. Far from over.
Well, Matthews said they have the run. Here's Silvani playing in his 24th final. He's closing in on that record of Brucey Dools of 29 finals. It's an amazing record, and this is Adrian Hickmott.
Hickmott has done well in this third term. The kick in towards half-forward, little push out. Umpire allows play to go on. Voss well tackled by Lappin. Gathered Camporelli, Ratton. Free kick to Brisbane. That's 50 metres then, isn't it?
It should be.
Because he definitely kicked the ball well and truly after the whistle had blown.
And Robbo, you said this game's far from over. Remember round 16, Brisbane in the third quarter kicked 11 goals against Carlton. The Blues still won.
What have you seen, Robbo?
Well, I don't think it's a margin. I think 14 goals is not a huge score, and we're nearly up to three-quarter time. And Brisbane is still, they're just within range, I reckon. We've got 7 minutes left in the third term. If they kick 2 goals, then they put the panic back in the minds of the opposition. They've got to stand up for the last 10 minutes. If they can get a goal or 2, the Blues against that, well, then it may be. But Brisbane's still very much in it. Houghton's kick towards half-forward. Oh, brilliant. Gathered by Lappin.
Here's one of those
And
goals.
here's the goal. Kicked by Favola. He's missed. He has missed a sitter. Well, they'll look back at a few chances, won't they? Franchina, I think it was, that missed earlier in this third term. We watch again. This was, he just had to take another half a metre to steady, maybe. He felt the pressure of the player coming from behind.
Sandy, you keep the goals and behind statistics. Have you got them for Brendan Favola?
Brendan Favola's accuracy this year has been very questionable. 20 goals, 24 coming into this game. So he's really a 50% option. And that's something that he has been working on, I know, as Voss kicks towards Johnson on centre wing.
The most important thing is that he does create chances for himself. At least we know he can get the ball.
Johnson chipping short to Hart. Can they mount something in the next 6.5 minutes to stay in this game? Not when you're taking marks like that. Beaumont's been very effective. Plays on to Hamill. Malloy gives chase, but Hamill gets away. Up towards Fletcher. Fletcher's on centre wing.
Plugger, what about young Favola? What would you say to him?
Hang on. Malloy
This is
gets
just
it away
what
to
they
Voss.
need.
This
It's
could
the
be the
little slip
turning
they
point.
need here.
Voss, 65 metres out. Goes long in towards full forward. The big man's got it. Oh, McDonald.
Didn't pay it.
Not paid.
Had to pay it.
Believe it.
Had to pay it.
Unbelievable, he says, and Allen will steady the ship. He gives it to McKay. It could be a 12-point turnaround here because McKay is ripping towards the centre. Spears it in towards half-forward, and Lance Whitnell takes it. Down towards Favola territory he goes, and here he comes.
Yeah, Jason Ackermanis had to go there and just cut across Lance Whitnell's path. It was one he could have got. Let's have a look at this one up the other end of the ground, Jason.
That's a clean mark. That's a clean mark, and then he has his hands pulled away.
Favola had a shot only minutes ago.
What about Favola, Plugger? What would you say to him if you had him under your wing?
Well, it was just one of those situations, I guess. He probably really should have taken the mark earlier on there and kicked that goal. But look, he can make amends here. And certainly, I think if he kicks this goal, Carlton are well home.
Here he is for his second. That's better. He's kicked it. 2 to Brendan Favola. 2 to Matthew Lappin, 5 to Aaron Hamill. Carlton steadies.
I tell you what, there's no doubt that Brendan Favola was a great fan of Pluggers, because if you have a look when we get him back on after this replay, he's wearing Pluggers shorts. They are about 4 sizes too big for him.
I'm glad you said that.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I know that you've trimmed down a bit, Plugger, but...
you're on dangerous ground, Jared, and you're on your own.
This is a Jared game.
Now, what were you saying, Jared?
I was just saying that Brendan Favola looks like he's borrowed Big Nick's shorts.
The square off. Well, at the centre bounce, the Blues a chance to break away again. Bradley quickly onto his boot. Lands the ball at half forward. Whitnell's got a chance here. Lance Whitnell can't break away. Hand passes to no one in particular. Then confronts Notting. Hand pass away Ashcroft. He's got a player wide in that right half-back area. It's Lappin. That's Nigel Lappin. Matthew Lappin, number 12 for the Blues. Nigel Lappin runs outside his defensive 50. Then gives a rather errant hand pass to Hart. He's going to get run down. Handball, coughs it up. Blues through Allen to Beaumont. Not really all that skillful off
Bradley,
the right.
look at
that
Bradley.
Was terrific. Camporelli shares it with Ratton. The campaigners of the year 2000. And Ratton kicks it home.
They could have rattled that one. They had loose players running everywhere. Craig Bradley was on Brett Ratton's left, and either of them could have run in and slotted that one through.
Well, those 2 goals were the 2 goals that Brisbane really had to get. I thought Voss, his decision-making in kicking the ball forward where Beau McDonald wasn't paid, maybe he could have looked for a pass, but they're confident.
And that one, Robbo, that one was a result of a poor handball from Nigel Lappin, so they've got no one to blame but themselves.
And it's rebound footy all over again, isn't it? 16-9, 105 Carlton, 7-4, 46 Brisbane.
4 minutes remaining in the quarter. Brendan Favola, 2 goals, and Carlton, 2 quick goals. They're the ones that the Lions wanted, but it's not to be. Out of the middle. Look at that, the strength of Hickmott. He gives it away to Bradley. The running machine is going again to Hamill. Aaron Hamill has kicked 5.
Well, it's becoming very much a procession out of the middle now. The desperation that was so evident in the first quarter by the Brisbane midfield just isn't there, and Hickmott's just barging in. It was a questionable handball, but it was on the other side of the umpire, and Craig Bradley has just slaughtered them in this quarter. He's up around 10 possessions for the quarter.
Aaron Hamill with a birthday on Sunday. He's going to have a big day because he's kicking for number 6 here today. A preliminary final berth at stake. You couldn't ask for a better present, could you? And he's got it. Number 6. And how consistent. 6 straight. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third.
Well, Kenny had 2 in the last to finish with 8. He is striking the ball beautifully today. They are coming off the boot of treat, and good to see him make the effort to run all the way back to the centre and give Craig Bradley a pat on the back to that beautiful pass.
Yes, it was copybook, wasn't it? And some pats of acclamation there for Adrian Hickmott too, working overtime. Well, there's some smiles there. Not so much from... Yes, he's got one. Ange, good on you. And Cooter. May we see Cooter back before the end of the year? Only time will tell.
I understand, Robbo, that he ran 3 laps and did 3 run-throughs yesterday. So if he's going to play next week in the prelim against the Bombers, he's got a bit of work to do.
Certainly has, and gee, the heat of battle certainly will test that leg out. Simon Black. Darren Hume being helped to his feet there by his teammate Matthew Lappin. The umpire will bounce once again just a few metres forward of the centre circle, favouring Brisbane. Crowd of about 52,000 here at the MCG. Malloy in the ruck. Marcus Ashcroft out wide for Johnson. Johnson's got a little bit of space. Kicks it in towards full forward. Malloy, hand pass, Ackermanis goes in, and Ackermanis kicks a belated goal for Brisbane. Jason Ackermanis kicks his second goal. He got one, I think it may have been Brisbane's first goal. Jason Ackermanis. They've kicked their 8th, 17-9, 111. Brisbane 8-4-52, a margin of 59 points in favour of Carlton.
It's an interesting stat that both the Sydney Swans, who have been to a grand final, and the Brisbane Lions, who have been to 2 preliminary finals and obviously to a semi-final on a couple of occasions, are collectively yet to win a finals match in Melbourne.
Couple of minutes remaining in the quarter. Allen is beaten. Voss can't get it clear. Smashed back towards Ackermanis, but stolen by Bradley. He gives it to McKay. It was a fraction too high. He did so well to control it. Give it back to his skipper, who kicks to centre wing, and Hickmott takes the mark. He doesn't get a lot of plaudits, Adrian Hickmott, but by gee, he's a good player. Goes in towards the middle. Free ball.
He's a cagey old midfielder, Craig Bradley. He knew that if he just handballed that just that little bit too high, he'd end up with a double stat.
In towards full forward. The defence of the Lions having to work overtime here. Hart is on the half-back line. Takes it now and gives it away. Up towards centre wing goes Picken, and he finds Alistair Lynch. Lynch swings around, but Beaumont will chop this off. It's been very good. Off to Silvani, who got an awful bounce. The fullback of the century goes back towards Beaumont. Cupido tries the steal. He's almost successful. Mansfield is there as well. Pushed away from Ackermanis. Flicked back towards Lawrence. Lawrence wants Ackermanis again. Silvani is there. That's how you do it. What an offence. Beaumont to the outer side. Favola is sprinting down the ground. He's got it on centre wing, gives it off to Camporelli. They're not done with yet in this quarter. Camporelli is almost down to the half-forward line. Houghton's screaming for it at half-forward. Whitnell is there as well. Whitnell's got it. He wants to go on with the job. He does from 55. He sets sail for home, and he makes it home. He makes it.
Well, good sign for the Blues that Lance Whitnell has taken that overhead mark and then kicked the long bomb. Not so much for this afternoon, but they've got a big match coming up next week, and they won't get near the Bombers unless all their good players play particularly well. And well, we're talking about one of their finest on screen at the moment, showing the full extent of his skills.
Carlton just got too many big guns up forward, fellas. They're just too good. And Whitnell, although had a bit of a quiet day, other players stepping up like Hamill and Allen and Favola and all these type of players just got too many answers for the Brisbane defence.
20 years of age, Jason. How'd you like to be starting your career like Lance Whitnell?
I think he's got a decent one ahead of him, Robbo.
Hume gathers from the Bradley little hand pass. Camporelli can't stop Sean Hart from taking the mark across that half-back line for Brisbane. Plays on quickly, kicks it to Darryl White. Stats for Sean Hart 7 and 7. Camporelli 12 and 3. Camporelli certainly in this term.
Oh, he's paid 50.
50-metre penalty against Andrew McKay.
Just knocked Nigel Lappin off balance. That's what cost him.
So McKay to come all the way back to the forward left-hand point of the square beyond that, nearly up to the 50-metre line.
The only blemish on what's been a brilliant game by Andy McKay.
Lappin's kick, Beaumont in front. No mark taken. Silvani. Oh, dear. How well disguised was that?
Very clever. Steve Silvani, though.
He may have done a hamstring here.
Done a string.
Yeah, he looks like he's clutching that left hamstring, boys. Doesn't look too good at all.
Or is he holding his knee?
Not a groin, is it?
It may just, maybe cramping. Oh, definitely lifted up though, didn't he?
He might have just hyperextended the knee.
Right in the goal square, chance for Leppich. To goal.
The big story is Steve Silvani with a view to next week. I think it's a hamstring or buttock muscle.
I think it's the knee, Jared.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think he grabbed the hamstring because when you do a knee injury, that's where you feel it. You feel it through the back of the leg. And he's just trying to support the leg, as we see Justin Leppich finishing off well. But they've called for the stretcher. This could be a real blow to their title hopes, and a tragedy to see it happen to any AFL football.
Leppich has booted 3 for the quarter, but this is the story, no doubt about it, with the fullback of the century He's just looking totally shattered. The finals campaign could be over for this great player for the Carlton Football Club, Stephen Silvani.
Just watch the left leg. I don't know if we can see it here. It just snaps very straight.
He's a veteran of 24 finals. As I said before, he was closing in on Bruce Doull's record of 29.
If there's any Essendon supporters at the ground today, have you got a message for them? We did last year, and I reckon we're going to win by a point again next week, Essendon supporters, so look forward to it.
It's hard to say. It does snap straight, and it doesn't hyperextend though, does it?
Well, I'm sure that Richard Osborne and Tony Lockett, boundary riders, will work with Carlton. We'll find out what has happened. We're going to take a break.
Life is changing so fast, it's scary. And we're so busy worrying about the future, we forget about our dreams. But you only get one shot at life. So what are you waiting for? Turn off the television and talk to your kids. Go into business for yourself. Get on the internet. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Because life is there. All you have to do is take it. Whatever your dream is. Make it happen.
Rule number 1, only a big car can deliver real power.
The all-new Pulsar is here.
Big cars mean space. That's all there is to it.
With more space, style and refinements than ever before.
You can't get a decent car for under 20 grand.
And it's just $19,390. The all-new Pulsar. As you can see, it breaks all the rules.
Hurry into Harvey Norman and buy furniture and bedding with no deposit and no interest for 24 months and no repayments for 12 months. That's right, no deposit with no interest for 24 months and no repayments for 12 months on all furniture and bedding. Lounge and dining furniture, bedding and bedroom suites, everything you need to make your house a comfortable home. What a deal! No deposit with no interest for 24 months and no repayments for 12 months. Available to approved customers now at Harvey Norman.
Welcome back. I guess Carlton couldn't ask for greater incentive than to do something now for Stephen Silvani. But let's go down to the ground. Firstly, to Richard Osborne. Aussie?
Yeah, I've got Matty Armstrong here. Matty, your thoughts on that third quarter?
Oh, look, their pressure around the contest, I think for the three quarters, is starting to take its toll, especially that quarter. They won the ball through the middle, out of the centre bounces, and I think their physical pressure over the ball has been where they've beaten us today.
Justin Lepich moved forward with a little bit of a result in that quarter.
Yeah, it was very good. We actually put him forward because we were a bit sussy with his hamstring at the moment. It's very tight, so we put him forward. He's ended up kicking 3 goals, which was a bonus for him.
Thanks, mate.
We noticed Tony Lockett walking with the stretchered Stephen Silvani. Pluggy, you're on the other side of the ground there. What news have you got? Is it a knee or is it a hamstring?
No, it's a hamstring, Sandy. I just approached Stephen as he was getting carried off on the stretcher. He looked in a considerable amount of pain, so it looks like it's quite a severe hamstring injury. So I guess we'll have to just keep our fingers crossed for Stephen, but he certainly looked quite sore.
It would be an absolute miracle to think that he could play any further football this year. And that's a tragedy for Carlton, but it may give them some incentive to go on in the next couple of weeks as we start the final quarter. They lead by 59 points going into the final term. Mansfield, heavily bandaged, gives it to Bradley. Here's Hume. Bradley, incidentally, had 14 possessions in that third quarter. Fletcher goes back in the middle once again. Franchina throws it away. Lappin loses it. Johnson takes advantage. He gets clear in the middle. Gets around McKay. Johnson chips towards the half-forward line. And Lepich takes the diving mark. Well, Lee Matthews said earlier in the week he thought his side could outrun Carlton. Well, we're down to the last quarter. They've got it.
They have to do a lot of running in this last quarter, Sandy, although there's only been 3 occasions this year that Brisbane hasn't amassed 100 points. I mean, they're barely over halfway. They're only on 58 at the moment. But we know they are capable of kicking big scores in a quarter, and let's hope that this springboards them to some sort of comeback.
Lepich for number 4 after moving to the forward line in the third quarter when he booted 3. He kicks from 47 metres. That is a nightmare.
Missed everything.
Absolute nightmare.
Carlton won the centre clearances in the third term 8-3. So emphatic superiority there for the Blues. Short kick here has been marked by Houghton. He can go across the full back line where Manton is marked. Could probably go in the direction of Beaumont, but ignores that. Goes to Camporelli. Camporelli running away from half-back. Kicks in towards the middle, chopped off there by Voss. Very quiet third term, Voss. He was pretty prominent early. In the latter part of the first term, he was instrumental in the Brisbane side, kicking their 3 goals for that quarter. Lawrence kicks in towards full forward, and Lynch is marked in front of Beaumont. The shackles have been released a little. I mean, just psychologically, the non-presence of Stephen Silvani would certainly give the Lions some, reason to look forward to 20 minutes of football.
Yeah, I think what it does do, Robbo, is in everybody's in the pit of their stomachs, the Carlton players will know that next week will be difficult, but without Silvani, it becomes almost impossible.
Lynch goes for goal. Lynch has kicked 2. He has not added to that tally with that kick. 2 goals, 1 to Alistair Lynch.
They've had a couple of early opportunities to put scores on the board, and they really need that to get some respectability back on the scoreboard.
The lights on now at the MCG for this final quarter. McKay takes it from Hickmott and kicks to Mansfield. Michael Mansfield dashes through the middle now. The former Cat looks down towards Favola. 1-2, away he goes, nodding on his hammer. Favola throws it out towards Allen. Can he get on that left foot and give it away to Hamill? He does to Hamill, and Hamill can smell a goal from a kilometre. He has booted 7, if you don't mind.
Just trying to get the fingers to work then, Sandy.
And Sandy, he's kicked 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and 2 in the third, and he's got a chance to get 2 in the fourth.
He is uncanny though, isn't he, with that round the body flick of the boot. Sensational stuff.
Big difference, isn't there? I mean, Brisbane had been forward twice, missed a couple of chances. The Blues get just one semblance of an opportunity and capitalise. So the goal from the boot of Aaron Hamill, he's 7th, 7 straight for Hamill. Whitnell having a relatively quiet day, battling hard up against Darryl White. He's had 10 possessions and kicked 2 goals, but the focal point has been Aaron Hamill, 5 marks, 13 possessions and 7 straight. The Blues 19-9, lead Brisbane 9-5. Margin 64 points early in the last term. Up high was Allen. Lovely tap on there by Fletcher. Releases Bradley. No one to kick to. Craig Bradley. He had 14 possessions himself in the third term, the veteran.
That's an interesting kick though, Rob. He still probably could have kicked it in the direction of the oncoming players. They were well out of reach, but maybe he didn't want to kick on his left leg.
And he's now got Simon Black, one of the powerhouses in the Brisbane defence, minding him. So one of the young guns is more concerned with the old bull than he is with his own performance. It's a fair tribute to Bradley.
Oh, credit to Craig Bradley. I mean, in excess of 36 years of age. As a man with some concerns, at least for the next 16 and a half minutes. Only 9 goals, 5. The Brisbane Lions scoreline. Hamill gathers, gets the hand pass back to Lappin, in turn Ratton, in turn Fletcher, was meant for Hickmott. Fletcher's little kick out wide. Allen is there, he can raffle it. He ignores Lappin, then the hand pass not good. McDonald, Ackermanis, turnover, chopped off. Mansfield takes the mark, handball, Freeborn, throws it onto his left, Whitnell has marked. 2, 3 grabs, Whitnell away from White, and he'll shoot for his 3rd goal.
Gee, I thought Whitnell had dropped a mark he should have taken then, but his reflexes after he initially fumbled the ball were incredible to get back for that.
Important for a young man here to finish this game off after struggling early. This kick coming in from Freeborn through the air a little awkwardly, but Whitnell standing his ground. Marks quite safely in the finish. Darryl White over the top. Player on the mark is about just a little more than 40 metres from goal. Whitnell going for his 3rd. Ordinary kick by Lance Whitnell standards, off to the right. Just scrapes through for a behind. 2 goals, 2 to Lance Whitnell. Goals for Brisbane. Gee, they've been few and far between, haven't they? It was well in excess of a quarter and about 12 minutes between their 4th and 5th goals. There's the two Blues brothers, Koutafidis and Christou, in the stands, and they'd be rather pleased with the scoreline. Carlton 124, lead Brisbane 59. 15 minutes left in this game.
White has it on the outer wing. Kicks towards half forward. And Leach in front of Hott takes it to the line.
Petering out, isn't it? Petering out now.
It is now. I think there's a sniff of inevitability about the whole affair, sadly for the Brisbane Lions. And I guess there is a huge injury cloud over Carlton with Silvani. But this is Cubido. These are the players of tomorrow. Cubido to the outer side. He finds Lawrence, still outside 50. And closing, gets the hand pass off towards Lappin. Tucked on a pretty tight angle, so it's a centering kick. Lepic is his target at the back. Couldn't take it. Mansfield, the Bandage Brigade, are doing it in style for the Blues. And that is called let's find the boundary line in the most subtle fashion possible. And he does that.
Lance Whitnell coming from the ground. He's done his job. Hasn't been his best performance by any stretch of the imagination, but after a dislocated shoulder a couple of weeks ago, he's done a great job through these finals.
Porter back on, Fletcher and Ackermanis and co to the line once more. It was Fletcher who put it there in the first place.
And I guess for Brisbane, Jason Lee Matthews, well, he'll put today behind him pretty quickly and look forward to having Clark Keating back in the side. A couple of their big blokes, Bo McDonald and Noble, with a year under their belt.
Yeah, I think the other thing he does do is he makes note of those players that handle the occasion well, the young players that stand up when given an opportunity on a day like today.
And of course, losing Power and Bradshaw prior to today's game robbed his forward line of some extraordinary scoring potential.
Bradley coming off the ground.
And Houlihan on as Fletcher kicks down towards the half-forward line. Lappin fires it in towards full forward again, and Favola is his man.
Great hit from Matthew Lappin. That's brilliant disposal on the left foot. He's been a very good player today. He's had 18 touches, kicked a couple of goals. But just seeing Whitnell and also Bradley come off, I guess the Blues are mindful. They do have to front up next week. Looks like they've lost Silvani, so they're resting a couple of their other key players.
Hume off. Yeah, for Backwell.
Blues hierarchy believe that this fellow, with the ball in his hands, can kick 100 goals in a season at some stage in his career. He just knows how to get the footy, but it's his conversion that has to improve.
Kicking for his third, and he's ripped that away to the left.
He does play like a traditional full forward, Jared.
Yep.
He starts back in the square, he comes on a good long lead, he has good pace, he has good hands, he can also take a high mark. But as we said before, look, the hard part in this game is getting the ball.
Yep.
You can always teach blokes what to do with it later on, but you can't teach them how to get it.
Johnson to the outer side. Darryl White. Kicks towards Hart, who marks at half-back. Ashcroft, they're going through the motions now. Wider to son of Billy. Marcus Picken comes towards centre wing. Picken's kick will sit for Notting. Tim Notting can bounce his way towards the 50 as Franchina gives chase. He gets his kick. Mackay is in the pack. Lepic came over the top. Hickmont takes them all on. Cupido gets him. So Essendon, no doubt, having a close look at this game today. No doubt amongst the crowd of 56,924. Pretty healthy crowd for these two teams. Brisbane, of course, having a good following down in Melbourne. And Carlton looking at another crack at a preliminary final and hopefully then a grand final. But all that lies ahead. Franchina couldn't take it. Backwell straight into the thick of things. It bounces away from Cupido. He and White will be the first two Lions on the scene. Cupido bending it back. He wanted McDonald, but he didn't get him. Hart will give it to Voss. Voss is giving away a little ground. He desperately needs support. A 35-metre hand pass back to White. He chips towards Brett Voss. Untidy as Lappin comes through. Well done by Lappin. He clears it, but straight down the throat of Voss.
Ooh, he was almost off too.
He thought about it, didn't he? He gave great thought. Every player is in one half of the ground. This is Bolton. We've got 36 in this half. Towards Ackermanis. Can't pull it with the one hand. Hickmont towards the line and is quite happy to concede it.
And it's pretty good practice at the moment for the Blues, because the only way they're going to possibly get close to the Bombers, if they or even beat them, is just by having every player in their defence. Every player in the Carlton, in the Essendon forward line. It's the only way that they've been beaten this year. There's Terry Danaher observes with Kevin Sheedy up the back, but Terry Wallace has just given everybody the blueprint for how to beat the Bombers. May not work every time, but just flooding the back line was the only thing that worked.
Beaumont, 23rd possession. McKay, who's been quite spectacular. They go screaming away. McKay receives again, kicks it. Oh, he nearly took it one-handed for Vola. Kept young Bolton away from the ball, but he showed great leaped by Houghton. Porter nodding. Must have gone over for a boundary throw-in.
How high was that leap, Robbo?
Well, it was Trent Houghton. Have a look.
Arm doors and cross-check.
Well, if he'd have raked that in, can he still be a contender for Mark of the Year? It's all over, is it, Sandy? Well, he didn't mark it anyway, so we'll get on with the game as the Blues try and defend across their half-back line. Camporelli to run away, delivers into the middle to Franchina. Franchina to a one-on-one. Bolton and Favola. Favola stands his ground. He'll get another one, will he? Yes, he will. Good finish for the youngster. Opportunities have been few and far between for Brendan Favola during this season, but just 19 years of age. And Jason, more importantly, he's had 6 shots at goal. He's only kicked 3 out of those 6, but he's getting some good ground time in a final.
I think that's one of the keys, Robert, to have 6 opportunities coming off the bench. I know the pressure's gone out of the game, but you've still got to do it. And it's clever the way he opened up that opportunity for himself.
7 goals to Hamill, 3 goals to Brendan Favola. They've done the bulk of the damage up in the forward line, and they lead by over 10 now anyway. Here's Michael Voss out of the middle, up towards a half forward. Leppich was on courage. Malloy there as well. It's going to be a free kick. It was taken high, Leppich.
Great courage from Trent Houghton to jump back into the pack when he knew Justin Leppich was going to clean him up. Still nearly held the mark.
The margin at the moment, 71 points, and there you can see the courage of Trent Houghton backing into the pack, led by Leppich.
Made the most of it, Leppich too, the infraction, didn't he?
Well, he's done his bit since moving to the forward line. He's kicking for his 4th.
He missed everything last time, though.
Let's see what he can do this time. Oh, he's gone down the same direction, not quite as severely.
Well, they did say, I think we spoke to Matty Armstrong at 3/4 time. He said he did have hamstring problems, so maybe that's affecting his kicking. He's not kicking through the ball.
Richard Osborne's our boundary rider. The old crystal glass is working pretty well, Aussie, isn't it? You suggested a 10-goal win, and it's not going to be far off it when Justin Leppich is kicking like that. Still with us, Oz?
Yes, I did look through that crystal ball, Sandy, and tell you what, the Blues are making me look like I know what I'm talking about at this stage.
Porter, the big flyer over Lynch, not paid.
Was that not a mark?
Let's have a look at it again, boys.
He played on, didn't he?
No, he didn't pay the mark.
Didn't control it.
Mark not paid.
Boundary throw in, and the Blues, Ratton working in and under like he normally does. The ball out wide, pick and dispossessed by Backwell. Gets his kick away too. Up towards half forward, that's a holding incident, which will go in favour of Johnson.
Robbo, you were here the day that Gary Ablett took that mark of the year down in the forward pocket. Well, I reckon he had less of it than the big fellow Porter did a couple of seconds ago.
It was controversial, but the leap by Gary Ablett will be remembered from time immemorial, I would think. Out wide, Brett Voss kicks the ball into the left forward pocket. Up over the top there was Houghton. Well gathered by Houlihan. Kicks across his left shoulder and gets it out in the direction of Freeborn. Leap couldn't take the mark. Ratton dispossessed. Helping him out was Backwell. Franchina. Porter. Freeborn. Good signs for the Blues. Running in support of each other. Fletcher's kick for Vola's mark. Well, the Blues fans went away from this ground very, very disappointed last week when it looked as though they had control of a final against the Demons. But they're not going to walk away from this ground today disappointed, because the Blues very much in control, 20-11 to 9-7, and Brendan Favola going for goal number 4.
It's been a big learning curve today for Craig Bolton.
Favola from 45 metres. Lovely long kick, just off to the right. 3 goals, 4, so he keeps up his averages, Sandy. I think you said for the season something like 20 goals, 23, wasn't it?
Yeah, 20-24 come into this game, Robbo, so accuracy has been really his only problem. He's an exciting young player, isn't he? And that's what the game needs. Favola has 3 goals, Aaron Hamill has 7, and we have just over 7 minutes remaining. Houlihan, hand pass perhaps a fraction high. Franchina was held and he didn't have the footy, but he doesn't care. He goes on with the job, rips into Simon Black and forces a ball up on that outer side.
I think he epitomises the in and under ability of the midfield of the Blues, the Ratton and what was Fraser Brown. Just the in and unders, the tough, the freeborn, etc. And Anthony Franchina has been quite serviceable today with 16 possessions.
Here's Freeborn going against Lappin. They both lose it. Voss, sneaky little hand pass, clever. Back towards Marcus Picken. Picken looks towards Ackermanis in the middle. Tucks it under his arm and away he goes. He loves this sort of situation, but hang on to it, Acker. Now he finds Cupido wider, 46 metres out, bending it back, but not enough, one behind. To Damien Cupido. Brought in a few young guns. Jonathan Brown, still learning and just 18 years of age. Looks to have a great future. Des Headland, Simon Black, Damon Cupido, all those players under 21. Mansfield. In the back pocket.
Bolton has come off the ground for Headland.
Yep, as you said, a learning curve for both those players today. Favola's hand pass, look out, Houlihan, Voss has got you. Tries to get the hand pass away towards Backwell. Backwell looks in towards Hamill.
Oh, great hands.
Hamill is 70 metres out. Here's the lead from Allen. Couldn't quite take it in front of the eyes, but Lappin does the roving work, bending it back on the left foot, but not far enough. And it is one behind.
Aaron Hamill has just been absolutely sensational today. Not only has he kicked 7 goals, you have a look at his work rate. He was down the other end trying to smother Cupido's kick for goal. 5 minutes later, he's up the other end. Just his work rate is just exceptional for a full forward.
Yes, but he needs another goal if he's going to be consistent. Aussie, he's kicked 2, 2, 2 and 1 in the quarters so far.
He's got 6 minutes to do it, Sandy.
And he certainly could. This is Black. There he goes again with a great smother.
I wouldn't bet against him.
No, look at him go.
He's unbelievable.
Aaron Hamill, sensational. Talk about competitive. Gee.
Then he gets Voss.
From the bounce. And it's Hamill in the thick of things again with Picken taking it to the line.
I think if you're going to win tough finals, you've got to have contributions from every player like that. Everybody has to be spirited and never give up in any contest that you're going for.
As we said, just under 57,000 fans here today. Ackermanis tries to smash it in towards the middle. The Voss boys are running, and here they go. Off towards Desi Headland, but he's caught. Beautiful tackle. Fletcher working well. Now it spills to Lynch. Sneaks away from Manton. Short pass meant for Leppich. Can't take it cleanly. And Manton gives it away to Camporelli. Camporelli goes again. Takes his own ball. Kicks to the half-back line. He's got Freeborn there and he's away. Looks towards half-forward. Favola was a target. Notting is there as well. Picking on his hammer. Hickmont lurking. Gets past Johnson. Beautifully done. He wanted Lappin. Little too far for him. Hamill. He's close to goal. But instead he gives it to Ratton. Ratton chips to the pocket. And Brendan will give it away. He threw that. He did throw it, but it doesn't matter. He threw it, and it's a goal. That was amazing. He did sit through it.
I think he was pretty happy to give one off Brendan Favola after his last couple of kicks for goal too. He thought, well, we'll make sure of this one. Brett Ratton could have blazed away. We saw some great lead-up work. They were all involved. Hickmott, Lappin, Hamill. The handball comes out. every right to have a shot for goal running straight at it, but that's just unselfish play. Spots the loose player, and he knows, didn't get too much fist on the handball.
Dear me.
It wasn't goal of the year, wasn't mark of the year, but was quite possibly throw of the year.
Let's put 3 more umpires on the ground and see if one of them might be able to catch that decision.
Allen gets his second goal, Robbo, that's the bottom line.
Oh, well, they go marching on, don't they, the Blues? Umpires found a free kick. It might go to the Blues, was it? And no, he's awarding it against Ratton. Watch this. He's got the ball in both hands, and
he had a clenched right fist. I suspect the angle wasn't very good for us,
Robbo. He's a
Robbo.
forward, and you're so sympathetic to those forwards, Jason.
I'd like to see that from behind.
Malloy's kick is a good one into the pocket. The mark is taken by Justin Lippage. He's kicked 3 goals.
What's he like with the banana kick, Lepper? He's either going to have to employ that or run out onto the left foot.
We may just see. There's the camera from behind Justin Lippage. Deep in that right forward pocket, yes.
Might as well have a crack at the banana at this end of the year.
Walk back a little bit further around the boundary line, maybe, to improve the angle. You're allowed to do that? Just walking back around the boundary line.
You cannot do that, Robbo.
You're not allowed to. Well, he's kicked the goal anyway, hasn't he?
Kick bananas.
With the check side, he's got a goal. That was easy, Jason. Huh?
Wasn't a bad little effort, that was it? He's done very well since going forward, Justin Lippage, to kick 4 goals. He's taken 10 marks today, had 17 possessions. He's certainly one of the Lions players that can hold his head high. As we have another look here, we're looking for the right fist. It definitely went back, it was clenched, and he brushed it out with the fist. That is a handball, thank you, Robbo. Well done, Brendan Favola.
4 goals to Lepage, and that shot says it all. The season has only 3 minutes to run for Lee Matthews and his men. Porter smashes it to the half-forward line. Johnson gets an awful bounce. Freeborn. Beautifully done to Houlihan. He steadies and passes well, and Allen will go back and kick another goal.
Smart player, Houlihan. You see a bloke do those sorts of things to just a young man coming through, you realise that he's got a huge future in the game.
Yeah, more often than not, the player, a particularly young player, would blaze away from there, Jared. I mean, he's running flat stick. He was comfortable on the left foot, running straight at Matthew Allen, so he just bunted the ball forward.
No doubt Carlton has the Lions measure this year. This is the 3rd time they've met. And for the 3rd time, they're doing it with absolute ease in the end. Matthew Allen gets his 3rd goal.
Played a pretty good game too, Matthew Allen.
Very good, Matthew Allen. Well, he's such a critical player to this Blues lineup at full strength. He's got to be one of their best players.
Yeah, I think along with Hamill and McKay, one of the best 3 on the ground. You could probably throw Bradley in with that lot, but they've really stood up today. And a very encouraging sign for the Blues to see Matthew Allen in good form.
So the Blues will confront the Bombers next week in the preliminary final. The Demons to play the Kangaroos, and the winners, of course, to play in the grand final the week after. Houghton, handball away, Ratton, 20 possessions to Ratton out wide. Hamill couldn't take it. Gathering his picking for Brisbane. He's at left half back, hooks the ball over his left shoulder, kicks it. Leap by Houlihan, couldn't take it. Ratton to Porter. In turn, Hickmott. Back to Ratton. He gets a second chance and knocks it clear to Hamill. Wider still to Houlihan. They are just raffling the football now, the Blues. And out there at right half forward, Backwell takes it over for a boundary throw-in.
Jason, Steve O'Reilly, does he get back in next week with the omission of Steve Silvani?
Well, he did kick 7 goals in their last VFL final for the Blues, so he's in pretty good form, and he can play at either end, so he might be the one that replaces Silvani.
Ratton kicks it forward. No mark to Matthew Allen. Matthew Lappin sees it over.
And Dean Rice also is another player who's got to come back.
He is.
Into the lineup.
They're probably looking at Justin Murphy. We don't know what the story with Cooter is. So, look, I think that's why they've been so desperate for the entire game today, the Blues too. There's a few players out there playing for their spots in the side.
In the forward pocket region, can Hamill get 8? Oh, here's one. Houlihan at the back. At the back, it's too easy for Brendan Favola.
This kick coming in from Houlihan was very, very intelligent. just looking and kicking to the front of the goals.
It's getting very pedestrian out there now, isn't it?
Another one, Robbo. Fraser Brown be knocking on the door.
Yeah, midfield's not their great problem at the moment. That's another one. You can mark that down, Robbo, just for the stats sake, to Aaron Hamill.
Was a good hand pass, wasn't it? And the understanding now between them, I guess it's when you're on top, you know, everybody can get a kick.
Closing in on a 100-point margin, but there's only a minute and a half left in this final. A minute and a half left in the Brisbane Lions year. They have finished well. There's no doubt about that coming into today's game. Malloy tries to barge his way through. Even the tracks of the D9 starting to falter a bit. And there'll be a bounce.
There's another D9 in there in the shape of Mark Porter.
Still in the middle. 151. Plays 68. Carlton have made it quite clear. They want the Bombers to half forward. Beaumont is at the back. Gives it away to Camporelli. He's happy to find the line. Michael Voss leads in the race. Simon Beaumont showing very good form. Bolton cools his heels. As Jason said, all part of the learning process for him. Ratton.
Beaumont next week. You'd imagine he'd get James Hird after doing a fair job on him in round 20.
65 metres out from the Brisbane goal. Hickmott will clear again. Back towards centre wing. A bad bounce for Lappin, but he's a real will-o'-the-wisp. Ashcroft holds it for a long time and then loses it. They've still got it in the middle. Houghton and co working well. Houlihan there too. He's given away a free kick. Ashcroft is going to take it. Just on the defensive side of centre. 10 kicks, 4 marks, couple of hand passes to Marcus Ashcroft.
He's done a pretty good job though on Brett Ratton. Ratton well down on his annual return for statistics with just over 20.
Cupido takes the nodding kick. He gives it to Leppich. It matters not. Carlton gets another crack at Essendon, this time in a preliminary final.
Well, no percentage in finals, of course, so this is really just one for the record books. And he's pulled it left for the 3rd time this quarter.
So the behind will stand. All academic just means correct weight for the final score. Aaron Hamill has booted 7 goals. Let's hear from him now. Here he is with Richard Osborne. Aussie.
Well, Aaron, great win. 7 goals yourself. You'd be happy with that?
Oh, you know, it's just good to... Just after last week where we had our opportunities, we didn't convert. We worked on that during the week and, you know, it just panned out well. It doesn't matter really who kicks the goals as long as we get them.
Good confidence builder for next week. Obviously a big task against Essendon, but you did it last year. Who knows, mate?
Yeah, look, we're going as underdogs, no doubt, and that's the way we like it, so we'll just keep it low-key and you just never know, was it?
Matty Allen, unbelievable today.
Fantastic, wasn't he? He's been out for 6 weeks and just every week he seems to be getting better, so hopefully it continues on.
Well, great win. Thanks for your time and good luck next week.
Thanks, mate.
And there is Matty Allen just shaking hands with several of his opponents. Craig Bradley comes over and says, well done, teammate. The winning margin, 82 points here in this knockout final. And the Navy Blues theme song ringing loud and clear around the MCG. Bring on the Bombers, are what Carlton fans are saying now. And for the Brisbane Lions, the season ends.
Well, they've had an up and down year, Sandy. They struggled at the start. They finished on strongly, but they really robbed themselves of the opportunity, I guess. Well, not robbed themselves, but Lady Luck didn't play its part with Luke Power and Daniel Bradshaw not being available this afternoon. Not to say they would have won with those players in, but couldn't get there.
Let's quickly go down the ground again. Aussie, who have you got?
Yeah, I've got Brett Ratton here. Terrific game, Brett. Great win for the club.
Yeah, all the boys sort of bounced back pretty hard in that, so you know, it's good to win and you know, face Essendon this week.
I've just beaten Aaron Hamill, not just 7 goals. I'm just astounded by his work rate. Just ran himself ragged.
Yeah, well, Sammy's been like that all the time. You know, his pressure in the forward line's unbelievable. He smothers, he's chasing and everything like that, and it sort of just helps the back line with Sauce and everyone like that. So it's really good.
Now, I want you to do me a favour. Go and check Craig Bradley's birth certificate. The boy can't be 36 years of age. He's just tremendous.
Oh, geez, I think some of the young blokes, he's going to probably outlive some of them. So it's unbelievable.
Thanks, mate. Enjoy the win.
Thanks.
I think his birthday is on the 23rd of October, Craig Bradley. That's when he'll turn 37. It's quite extraordinary. What were his eventual stats, Jared?
He's heading into Michael Tuck territory, I'll tell you right now.
Well,
27 possessions, 16 and 11.
And he spent the majority of the last quarter on the bench. But the big story today, Jason, is the injury to Steve Silvani.
Well, that's going to be a huge blow to their chances. I mean, he's such a key player. He basically anchors the Carlton defence, and without him, you'd think they'd really struggle against a very potent Bombers forward line next week.
And Sandy, a sobering loss for the Brisbane Lions. Whilst they've had 2 great years under Lee Matthews, they're still, as proven today, still a fair way away from those top couple of sides. And I guess with Clark Kearney coming back next season, they'll have the big man strength to go with the runners in the middle.
Yes, they certainly need something if they are going to take the next step. Carlton have done it. They're into another preliminary final. Victorious by 82 points.